11. Swinging a drive. That one's socked deep, right field. Back. And it's gone. Bray with a shot, the 2-run homer.
On Sports 1440.
Pretty deep, center field. Spectacular. Lights round.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Yeah, that's one ball and no strikes. Says crowd lines it up for pretty well. Garcia. It's good. What's the video board? Trout seconds sides, and the Angels have a 6-5 lead.
Well, a tremendous Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports 1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where the great game, the Daily Grand. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. You can take a lump sum, or you can just enjoy the enjoyment of getting $1,000 every day at PlayAlberta.ca. Get your tickets. Remember, no one won the Lotto Max, so it's $70 million tomorrow. So good luck. Better odds, though, if you play the Daily Grand. We got a fantastic lineup for you today on the show. You can text us, as always, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. Ike Howard from now on. Ike Howard will join us right off the top in about 15 minutes' time. TR will be in. We got Buck Pierce, the head coach of the BC Lions, as the Lions and the Elks will do battle for the second time this season. BC won the season opener in BC, 52,000 fans that day. Very loud, and the Elks offense just never got in sync that game. There's lots of challenges. Well, we'll get an update on the health of the Elks, but also Spec will be by. I think we're going to have Rocky Thompson, the new head coach of Bridgeport, joining us as well today. Dave Owens with Thirsty Thursday. We got Livingston. Man, there is lots to talk about. Horner is out. How about racing 239 times? And finally, you get rewarded. Well, you're getting rewarded financially all the time, but that's the goal is to win or get as close as you can to winning. And 239 races, Nico Hulkenberg finally got on the podium. So we'll discuss a little bit about that. We have a trade in the National Hockey League. Not a huge deal, but that the Pittsburgh Penguins have acquired Matt Dumba from the Dallas Stars, as well as a draft pick, and Kolyachnikov will go to Dallas. So that's basically a salary dump for the Dallas Stars. They needed to free up some cap space, and they did. And you look at interesting. I know there's lots of people who thought the NHL managers were going to vote. They hated how the TV of the draft worked. Well, I would agree with that, because to me, the decentralized draft wasn't the issue. It was the production that was the issue, right? That was the problem. So, to me, I don't need to have an interview with the player, with his GM afterwards. Hey, welcome to the team. You're telling us nothing. It's boring. Right? Lots of other leagues have had a decentralized draft, and it goes off without a hitch. You got the family people there. Away you go. Now, some of them don't have all the play. Like you got round one. Maybe, you put it in a smaller facility like they did, and you go from there. I don't have a problem with it. But people are like, oh, my God, it wasn't the same. You can improve on it, but I understand why the teams will keep it the way they do. Everybody I talk to, from scouts to managers, it's interesting to me. on one hand, people be like, the draft, oh my goodness, you gave away a 3rd-round pick for this player. I can't believe it. This is brutal. The value of the draft pick. And then the same people who say that on draft day are like, this is taking too long. Why are they taking so long? Get it over with. Well, you can't say in one breath that the draft pick is so valuable, but then in the other draft breath say, speed it up because I need to be entertained. It's not about you. The draft is not going to be riveting, edge of your seat television. It's never going to be that. It's going to be slow going. Teams, you make a wrong pick, that's a huge loss. You make the right pick, man, that can be franchise altering for your team. And it doesn't always have to be that it's a elite Connor McDavid like draft pick. We're talking the difference between hitting on a pick and completely missing. And when you miss, well, that's a big blow, right? If you get a good quality player, solid. Now, if that player you develop and he becomes a real big part of your team, that's great, right? But to me, the NHL, I have no issue with the decentralized draft, but make it cleaner, make it quicker, and you know what? Make it way more simple. That's all you got to do. Make it way more simple, because the draft itself is all about getting the right player. And when I talk to scouts and everybody else, when they had it decentralized, you were able as a scout, to talk more. You could talk louder at your table. You didn't have to whisper. And if you've ever seen the draft floor, it's a table that's like 4 people at the end, 8 to 10 on the sides, 4 people at the other end. It's a massive table. But you don't want to be talking too loud, because literally 3 feet on the other side of you, each way, is another team. And if you're talking, hey, we really like Declan, and the other guys, no, I really want Josh. This is why. Well, you got to be like, hey, yeah. Well, no, I really like Josh. What? And the guy at the other end of the table is straining their ear. Or like, can we invest in some Whisper 2000s here? It's a hearing aid for any of you young kids if you don't know what we're talking about. Right? Can we get the Whisper 2000? Because I can't hear what you're saying over there. What? Well, this is a very important day for a franchise. You shouldn't have to whisper. You should be able to not have to stand up and walk around to your scouts and kind of lean in. Okay, Bob, so which guy do you like? Why do you like him? And then the other people are like, I can't even hear what he's saying. Makes no sense. So the decentralized works. The production was the problem. It doesn't. And you know what? The draft is going to be long. Anybody complaining about the time of the draft, the issue is you. It's not the draft. It's you. It's because you live in a society now where you're like, I need instant gratification. I need to be entertained. Entertain me right now. And if it's not entertaining, well, this sucks. Turn it off. Don't watch it. If your team has the 10th pick, guess what? At around the 2-hour mark, turn it on. Your team will be close. If you're that lacking in patience, then that's what I recommend doing. But this is not story. But the draft is not about the fans per se and your level of entertainment level. That's not what it's about. It's about an organization making the right pick so you can be entertained later. That's what it's about. And you can be happy because your team has had more hits than misses, right? That's the difference, right? Like you go back. Now, there's always going to be some misses. I don't think there's any debate about that. But, you go back through the draft and like, hey, could the Boston Bruins of 2015, would it have been different? I have no idea, but would it have been different? Would they have taken Zabril, DeBrusk, and Zenison? Jake DeBrusk was a great pick. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic pick, right? He was the 14th pick in the draft. And guess what? I think he's got the 10th most goals so far in his draft class. Great. I have no problems with Jake DeBrusk. Fantastic pick. The other two were brutal, right? And you think about it. You have 3 picks in that quick a time, and you only hit on one of them. Awful, right? Zenizician's played 16 games. Zaboril's played 76. Like, they've done virtually nothing. They're out of the league. They're not. It's not like they got injured. No, they weren't good picks. Think about it. Guys who Boston missed on: Matt Barzal, Kyle Connor, Thomas Chabot, Joel Eriksson Ek, Brock Besser, Konechny, Jack Roslovich. Anthony Beauvillier. Those guys are all now. There's other ones in the first round that of Jenny Svechnikov, not the good Svechnikov, the other Svechnikov, right? Colin White, okay player, still better than what they drafted. So I have no problem. Actually, I think this is better for the NHL, to be bluntly honest. So the draft will still be important. It just won't be as riveting or entertaining. That's all. Coming up on the show today, as I mentioned, Ike Howard will join us. We will talk more about the Elks in a huge game coming up on Sunday. An opportunity. You win that game, now you're tied with BC, and now you can look and say, hey, we got a chance. They go into the bye week, and they will go into the bye week with such a much better frame of mind. You've won 2 in a row. You're like, okay, we got some progress here. We got some traction. We're not 0-8, 0-7, 0-6, 1-9 like has been for the last few years. That would be a huge positive for the now. If they lose, season's not over by any stretch, but it's just such a big difference. 1-4 and 2-3. The Jays day off today as they travel to Oakland. They'll play a 3-game set, and then it's a All-Star weekend, All-Star week next Monday, Tuesday, day off Wednesday, Thursday. Then they'll get back to it on Friday. Also, some other things in sports coming up. The PGA major. What have we got? The last major, the Open Championship is coming up. So looking forward to that. Then you got the when is the FedEx Championship? I think it's in middle of August now. I think if I'm not mistaken. So should be good. But coming up, it's funny they switched it right to have 4 months in a row: April, May, June, July for the majors. And I'm curious for the golf aficionados. Do you like it better knowing I got a 4-month run and that's where my majors are? And then, of course, you still got the, FedEx in August. So, it's kind of like a 5-month season. I know golf's way longer, of course. But if you're looking at like the marquee events, I wonder if golfers like it better, like the diehard golf fans. Me as a casual, I don't know if it's made much of a difference for me, to be honest, because they moved the PGA earlier. I haven't noticed a big change in my golfing interest by any stretch. But again, I'm just a casual golf fan. I'm not a diehard golf fan. I'm curious from the diehards if that's how you look at it. So a lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, what's your thoughts on the Oilers? Do you think they're done? Do they have any other moves coming? Good question. Well, they got 15 forwards. You look at contracts for the Edmonton Oilers. You anybody else that you add now, you're just adding more players, because the Oilers, the only guys on their forward group that don't require waivers is Ike Howard and Matt Savoy. And so now they've got 14 other forwards. So if both of those guys stay, then you're exposing 2 players to waivers. I would assume that Max Jones is probably the one guy he'd probably be the first one. Okay, so that's not hard. But then after that, Noah Philp, he needs waivers. All right? Curtis Lazar, waivers. So anybody else that you might put down, and the Oilers, I look at their salary cap and they're like, well, geez, we probably would like to accrue more cap space, but do they want to risk losing someone? So if you add another forward now, you're just potentially risking losing someone for nothing. And I know some people are like, well, you lose him for nothing, that's great, until you have 2 injuries. And you're like, God, I wish we had that guy. So it's a fine line there. Defense, I don't see them adding more defensemen. They got a boatload of D-men. They got the 7 defensemen who played in the NHL last year, and Bouchard and Ekholm and Nurse and Kulak and Wallman and Stetcher and Emberson. And then you throw in, they still have Josh Brown, who can play games if need be. They've got Atro Lepinen, who's a complete wild card. Right? He comes over. He led the Finnish Elite League, set a record, 60 points in 63 games last year. Unbelievable. Really good, right? They got Alex Regula, who they got on waivers last year. Now, would he make it through waivers again? Who knows? Now, Edmonton kind of lucked out in the fact that, he was injured and they never had to put him back to the minors, because I think when he would have got healthy, I don't think they would have just put him right in the lineup. But I do know that Stan Bowman's a big fan of his. So, he'll come in and he might be a surprise competitor on the back end. I don't think it's a lock, just 100% guaranteed that Emerson and Stetcher will be your 6-7. Good chance, but not a lock. So, yeah, I guess maybe, a goalie is the one thing I see as a possibility, but I don't see any significant moves other than coaching staff. Coaching staff, definitely. Like I said it the other day, Gulletson is gone. Schwartz, I know, is gone. I'm leaning now to maybe Paul Coffey not coming back. That's from conversations I've had. That's kind of getting that sense. So not 100% though. That one I'm not as 100% on. The other two, yes, without question, because we know Galton's in Dallas, and I know they're interviewing coaches, and Schwartz is out for the goalie coach. So that I'm 100% certain. So we'll see. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Ike Howard will join us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquessential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Alberta is already the economic engine of Canada, but we could be so much more prosperous if Ottawa would work with us, rather than attack our economy and jobs. The status quo needs to change. But how? The Alberta Next panel wants to hear from you on how we can best strengthen Alberta's sovereignty and position within a united Canada. Please visit alberta.ca/next and tell us what you think Alberta's next step should be. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Lovely Thursday afternoon. Welcome back. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You'll get a free $50 play. You get a new one every month. And also, right now, Summer 100 will get you a $100 casino play. PlayAlberta.ca. Time now for the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Discover Day sales event continues on. It's extended for one more month with even better pricing. You can lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save an additional $7,500 right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As we are joined by a newest member of the Oilers organization. He was acquired in a trade earlier this week from Tampa Bay for Sam O'Reilly. Was the 2025 Hobey Baker winner. Also a member of the Michigan State NCAA hockey team that is back-to-back champions. Ike Howard joins us. Ike, welcome to the show, man. Congratulations on your first NHL contract. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for having me on. I'm doing good. Obviously, been a kind of a crazy couple days, but super excited, and it's definitely been fun.
So, Ike, how closely were you involved with this? Like, was your agent giving you, updates? The rumor had come out back around the draft that, Oilers in Tampa Bay were discussing a trade, and, it didn't come to fruition right away. Were you pretty confident that it was going to happen? How many, were you getting hourly updates, daily updates, or just saying, agent, text me when I get traded?
I knew it's been in the works for a little bit. I met with them, had a Zoom. It's been, probably over like a month or so. And it honestly came as a total shock to me because it obviously I haven't been getting daily updates or anything, just kind of whenever something new would happen or whatever. But, honestly didn't really have any idea if it was going to happen or whatnot. And, obviously when it finally went through, I was just super excited and, couldn't wait to get started.
So in the conversations you had, anybody who's a skilled forward looks and said, oh, geez, I might have the opportunity to play with that McDavid kid. Well, he's all right. And then there's this Draisaitl guy. He's not bad either. For a young player who's an offensive-minded player, what was the conversations you had with the organization leading up to the deal?
Yeah, just what, about their city and rink and facilities and how they do things, just kind of that type of stuff. Obviously I know everyone about their team and, how incredible, those guys you just named are, obviously such special players, and you get a chance to be on the same team as any of those guys. It's pretty incredible and a super cool, opportunity. And I didn't really need to be sold at all. I kind of just loved everything about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes sense. Now, I saw on Instagram you posted that you're playing Mark Messier in a Theo Fleury film. Now, you had the old Winwell helmet on, I noticed. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it was, it felt pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. We had some crazy old gear. It was pretty funny how that happened. We were just at school, and they obviously needed, some hockey guys to film the scene because it was going to be whatever, a 5-on-5 scene or whatever. So everyone from our team hopped out there, had a couple fun days on set, and I got an appreciation for those wooden sticks and how those guys were able to shoot it because they were pretty bad.
Yeah. So how was your shot with the wood stick?
It was way different. I'm used to kind of being able to snap it, but you can't really do that. It's more like rolling the wrists and the puck, a little different technique. So it was definitely different.
Oh God, yeah, and heavy, right? It's like you're working out when you're lifting those old sticks.
Yeah, we were chopping each other a little bit in the wrists, and you definitely feel it a lot more with those heavy wooden sticks.
Yeah, well, you get appreciation just how different it is, because people always say, oh, you know what, they weren't. I said the advancements in technology, skates, sticks, training, nutrition. You're flying first class. Like it's really hard to compare and that's not even that long ago. But it's been a major difference when you consider like where hockey is now, and allows the athletes, I think, just to maximize your potential more.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Ike Howard joins us. So, Ike, for Oiler fans who, they see all the stats and they've probably seen a few highlights. What do you feel will make you, you're confident that you're NHL ready? What's the aspect of your game you're most confident in that can fit in the NHL right today?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the way I think the game, thinking ahead, finding open spots, and using my release, being able to find guys when they're open. I think just using my offensive instincts, I've gotten stronger and faster. Being at Michigan State, I think I'm physically ready. I feel like I'm in good shape, good conditioned, and I feel like I'm definitely ready to make the jump to pro. And I think obviously within this organization, it favors really well for players like me, and I think that's why it's such a good fit, and why I'm excited.
Are you predominantly a left winger? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think I don't mind either wing. I've played right wing. I like it as well. I think I've ended up on the left side a lot, but probably prefer left wing a little bit. But honestly, I don't really care too much.
We had your head coach Adam Nightingale on the show yesterday, and really fantastic interview, just talking about the team. And obviously, we got into some stuff about you. And he said we were talking about like you come in, you're a big personality. I don't mean that as a negative. I think it's a positive. You need different personalities. And he actually said, you know what? At times, he made me a better coach because as a coach, sometimes you feel like, God, not allowed to smile, can't have any fun. You got to be strict all the time. And he's like, with Ike, he works hard, but he has fun doing it. How do you balance that? Because I think it's important to be who you are and be like, guys, like I can play hockey and smile. Doesn't mean I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just about enjoying what you do and, making the most out of it. I like to have fun in practice and compete. And, I think that's, me and Nadia have such a great relationship. We've been together for 4 years, and I think obviously there's been some push and pull there and learning stuff, but it's been awesome. He's been my favorite coach. I think he's the man, and I think it's just about being yourself. Obviously you need to be focused and ready to go, but at the same time, having fun and bringing good energy.
How did he help you as a player?
I think just with his ability to understand like the pro game. He coached a ton of players there, and I've had hours of talks of what I need to do to get to the next level and to be ready for the next level. And it's just little things away from the puck, and it's not necessarily just scoring and setting guys up. It's little details, stick details in the defensive zone, angles, all that stuff he preaches, and I'm just very appreciative he kind of give me that head on and help me learn that. And, now I feel that I'm ready.
Ike Howard joins us, the newest member of the Oilers. Virtually every high-end offensive player coming out of junior NCAA, they're like, hey, great speed. He's got to work on his defensive game. Like I can't think of one, very few players that maybe Barkov. That might be one of the rare exceptions, right? Like that's just natural because most guys, when you're the best player, going up in U11, U15, U18, whatever, you know what? You're so good that you can kind of get away with it. What's been the thing where you've appreciated working on your defensive game that you feel has helped you as a player?
Yeah, I think it's not like disregarding it, just knowing how important it is to, whatever system you're playing, right? Every team's different, but, being in your spot, owning your responsibility in the D zone. And I think if you do things right, you'll get more chances offensively. And I think I've kind of learned that over the last couple of years. It could stem from the D zone, and then all of a sudden you're take a pass off or lift the stick and you're going down the other way through and two. So I think just stuff like that and just honing in those details has been super crucial.
Now, my understanding is that you watched a lot of the Oilers playoff games. Like, they're an exciting team. Obviously, they've been in the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years, so hockey fans are watching them. When you look at your style of play, like Draisaitl and McDavid play so different. McDavid is just, 100% speed all over the ice, and Draisaitl can really skate, but he'll slow the game down, and, he passes on his backhand as well as he does on his forehand, and he's kind of a rare shooting center at times. when you watch those two, like obviously you'll be happy to play with either one, but is there a different way that you would have to play it all? Do you find if you played with McDavid or with Draisaitl?
I mean, both those guys are so good at what they do, and obviously they play differently. I mean, I think you just try to compliment them in any way you can. You know, I don't think you got to overthink it when you're playing with guys that good. You know what I mean? They're gonna find you and whatnot. So I mean, if I was ever able to get a chance with either of those guys, obviously that'd be incredible. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you got to overthink it. Those guys are the best for a reason, and those guys are normally the easiest to play with.
What are you most looking forward to in coming to the Oilers now? Like you're coming to a team like it's rare because I was looking at the last decade of Hobey Baker winners, and lots of them come out and they had success, but very few of them were on teams that were a legit cup contender, right? Like you're going to Buffalo and, you know, teams that are in the bottom half. And that's just for whatever reason, that's how it is. You come to this team. Is it more exciting or is it more nerve wracking? Cause you're like, damn, like we're in win now mode and there's maybe more pressure. Do you think it's better or worse to come in this situation? Like, is there more pressure or is it easier? Cause you're like, well, everybody's just going to look at McDavid and Draisaitl. They're not going to worry about me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what excites me the most. You know, I'm a competitor, win now type of guy. And being in that situation, like having a legit chance at helping this team win a Stanley Cup and bringing that to Edmonton, I mean, that would be incredible. It's everybody's dream that plays hockey is to win the Stanley Cup. And, you know, that's a real reality. And I think that's what makes this so exciting. And that's why I'm just so excited to get going. Obviously, it's still only July, but definitely pretty sweet.
Oiler fans are very passionate. They like to know about the players. Who was your favorite player growing up?
I mean, when I was pretty young, I loved Marian Gaborik. He was unreal. When he had played in the Wild, he was super exciting. I liked Nino Niederreiter actually a lot too for a while when he played for the Wild. Those are kind of two guys when I was younger. And then guys, I mean, I liked Ovechkin a lot too, just the way he could score and stuff.
Well, as a goal scorer, that's a pretty good one. So did you go to a lot of Wild games growing up as a kid?
Yeah. Parents took me and my brothers to a decent amount, and those always be fun nights and good memories.
Okay, how many siblings you got, and where are you in the pecking order?
I got 3 brothers, 2 older, 1 younger. So definitely a pretty hectic household growing up, but you know, I think that's the best way you could have it.
And all hockey players?
Yep, everyone played.
Okay. Who is the best looking of the 4 brothers?
The best looking, I'd have to go with myself.
Who's the fast? If you're in a foot race, who's the fastest Howard brother?
That'd be me as well.
Oh, okay. Best basketball player?
That would be me as well. I mean, I mean this objectively. I'm giving you an honest answer.
Okay.
That would be me as well.
Is there anything your brothers are better at than you?
I didn't think about that. I mean, nothing comes to the top of my head. I think they're good competitors, but I do seem to end up on the winning side when we play a lot of our 2-on-2 stuff.
Okay. Now, what about now? You got 4 brothers. I'm like most brothers. If you're playing mini sticks, you're playing at some point. There's some scuffling. Who is the brother most likely to start the roughhouse?
That'd be my older brother Mason. He even just when I went home for last Christmas break, you know, we're all 21, 23, 26. Like we're all old now, and there's definitely still some fits flying when we play knee hockey.
So is Mason? Is he the toughest?
I mean, I'm not going to say that on air, obviously, but he's a pretty strong guy, and he's gotten into like some jiu-jitsu now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can get ticked off pretty quick.
Okay. Give me your 1 or 2 favorite artists that you're listening to right now.
Right now, I mean, I love Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen. I like the Morgan Wallen's new album, and you know, I'm a big Zach Bryan guy.
Okay, so big country. Well, you'll fit right in here. You might have to go to Cook County. I'll tell you that. It's a great saloon in town.
Yeah, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, you definitely have to. How would you say is your ability to golf? Good golfer, average golfer, much improvement?
Yeah, I think I've improved a lot over the last couple of years. Like, I absolutely love golf. Right now I'm probably golfing like 4 times a week in the summer, so pretty much every other day at least. I think I'm probably around like a 9 handicap, 10 handicap, so like
okay,
I'm shooting low 80s, mid 80s on my round. So definitely there's some improvement there, but trending in the right way.
Best part of your golf game?
I think probably right now, like my wedge shots, 100 yards in, just soft hands around the green.
Okay. Now, were you always a hockey guy? Did you play a lot of sports growing up? Did you what's your second favorite sport?
Second favorite sport would be golf now. Growing up, it was probably soccer, tennis. Those are ones I liked growing up. But now as I've gotten older, definitely golf. But I also do like tennis and pickleball a lot.
Okay. And are the Vikings, are they like your go-to NFL team? Are the Twins, like, are you a diehard sports fan, or do you have teams all over the place?
I mean, I've never crazy been into football. I mean, a lot of guys will cheer me because I'll watch Vikings games, I'll watch Packers games, and then when I'm at school, I'll watch some cheer for the Detroit Lions. So kind of all over the place.
Okay.
But I just wherever I am, I just like to cheer for that sports team, I guess. Because I mean, I'm not crazy into football.
Okay. Do you have a non-sports hobby?
I'm trying to learn the guitar currently.
Ooh.
I got one for my birthday.
Okay.
So I want to try to dial that in, but I think that's probably that and fishing. Like, I like to fish with my dad and stuff too.
Okay. When you got traded to Edmonton, you signed your first contract. What's the first purchase you're going to make?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I got nothing in mind. I mean, I'm a pretty low maintenance guy. Honestly, I don't need too much, but so I got nothing in mind right now. But maybe something will come to mind, but nothing now.
Now, when you get your signing bonus, you taking mom and dad out for dinner?
Yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, I think you might. Like, that gets you in the good books, because then you still get all the home cooked meal. So that's
exactly.
Now, of your 3 brothers, when they come watch you live in the NHL, who will be the loudest in the crowd?
I would have to go with probably Mason. That would be my guess. I mean, Eli's my younger brother. He'll probably be pretty loud, but if I had to guess, Mason.
Okay. And do you know what number that you'll have in Edmonton?
Yeah, 53.
And what's the significance behind that number?
Growing up, I like Shane Goss, the spare, who was 53.
Oh.
When he was on Philly back in the day, he was one of my. I like watching him, and I like that number. And then when I was at the U.S. national team, my first year, I was 53, and 22 is probably my favorite number, but that wasn't available, so 53 is my next favorite.
53, awesome. Well, Ike, we really appreciate it. Congratulations, and we will see you probably sometime late August, early September here in Edmonton. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. There's Ike Howard, newest member of the Oilers, and I'm not going to say it on air. Sibling rivalry, man, it's the greatest, right? Even if you know one of your brothers is tougher than you, he's like, well, I'm not saying that on air, but yeah, probably. It might be my older brother, Mason, which, if his older brother ever hears that, he's loving it. So, and the chirps going on, well, I'm the best looking, I'm the best scorer. Oh, it's hilarious. And you know what? He'll come in. You know what I could say? Here's the thing, because I've heard people suggesting, the Oilers, they guarantee him a spot. I think that is, I think people misunderstand that you don't guarantee a player anything. You're coming out of call. You know what you guarantee? We'll guarantee you an opportunity to show you can play. And I always like to tell people, and there's people out there, if the Oilers, if they don't have him in the NHL right now, right off the start, that's brutal. Okay. And my easy answer to that statement is, did Leon Draisaitl, and by the way, Leon Draisaitl played 37 games when he shouldn't have. He wasn't ready, but they kept him here after his draft for half a season. Then he went back, got traded to Kelowna, and ended up winning the Western Hockey League. And I think they win the Memorial Cup that year. No, they didn't. They lost it, but he won the league. Then he came back to Edmonton and still started in the American League. Now, granted, it was only 6 games, but it was still for a month. Right, because he missed 10 games of the regular season that year. I think he did okay. So if by chance Howard takes a stint in the American League, I do not view it as a negative. It's like, here's an opportunity, kid. And trust me, in the preseason, I'll be floored if he doesn't get a game or two with Draisaitl or McDavid. Just because Edmonton, it's not like Edmonton has a boatload of productive 5-on-5 top-line left wingers. I like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as a player. Really good player. But he's not a great 5-on-5 player. That's been proven. I would argue that he's a better center than he is a winger. So, hey, guys, I have to say, I love his attitude. I'm dying laughing. I'm being objective. I'm just better at them, at everything, Matt. That's funny, man. Hey, well, he's not as tough as them, right? Did admit that. So, we like it. You know what? If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is ever believing in you. So you got to have a little bit of stuff. So I think people, like, I'll tell you, one of the most subtle, cocky guys on the orders is Leon Draisaitl. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You want to be some of the best, you got to believe in yourself. And when you say it, some people, if they can't handle that you believe in yourself, to me, it's the issue of the person who can't handle it. It's not the issue of the person who believes in themselves. No chance. Quick break. We'll come back. Some things I believe in. We'll discuss them next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall Legacy, Tall Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, Canada. Set a reminder and get ready for Tim Hortons Camp Day on Wednesday, July 16th. Buy a coffee, a Camp Day bracelet, or donate on the Tim's app to help build a better future for Canadian youth at participating restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.246. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Also, sports1440.ca. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. It's a lovely Thursday. Got a lot of texts coming in. Many of you, big fans of Ike Howard. I like this one. Hey, guys, I thought the kid was cocky with some of the stuff I read. After listening to him, completely changed my opinion on him. I like someone who's confident, but I thought he was actually very humble in saying if I get the opportunity to play with Draisaitl and McDavid, sign me up. Hopefully he lives up to it. Well, and that's the thing, like living up to what, right? Like we got to remember, he was a 31st overall pick. He wasn't a top 10 pick. He wasn't a top 5 pick, right? Kyler Yamamoto was 22nd. So, you look at it, he's bordering on a second round pick. If he pans out, it's an unreal move, right? But he was never drafted. I don't think people are looked upon. He won the Hobie Baker. Awesome. That's great. Like he's got clearly potential. So I think I'm always curious when live up to what? He's not making huge money. He's on an entry level deal. So I'm kind of curious what people's expectations are. Like I saw some saying 30 goals. I'm like, hey, well, you did the numbers of how many guys have scored 30 goals in the last decade as rookies. There's like 4 of them. And so is it possible? 100%, but it's pretty difficult to do. So actually, might only be, 4 that scored 30 in the last decade. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get to Thirsty Thursday. We're going to try something different. Oof. I don't know. This might be a tough sell for the kid. Thirsty Thursday is always brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, 2 locations, Southside 50th Street and 92nd Avenue, the original location on St. Albert Trail and 118th Avenue. If you're looking for wine, spirits, beers, non-alcoholic, there's no better selection than Sherbrooke Liquor, as David Owens joins us. And he's going to get me out of my comfort zone today, Dave.
You know what? We're going to go with cider. I just got back from a little time away and out in BC and got into a little bit of the cider myself. And I got to tell you, I was never a real big cider guy. And it's starting to change my mind a little bit. So we're going to try some interesting stuff. We're all over the map today.
Okay.
People think cider is, usually super sweet and they think Strongbow and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because that's, I'll be honest, like I am very much a novice when it comes to cider. I think I was like, tried Strongbow once. I'm like, gross. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever really tried a cider since, to be bluntly honest.
Yeah. And I was exactly the same way.
Okay.
And then there's one cider in here that I actually tried that first changed my mind on it. Let's give me the second one we go to today.
Okay.
But cider is can be super creative, just like beer can. From everything that's like super dry to fruity to.
So what exactly is cider?
So cider, it's essentially it's a fermented apple juice.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Okay. So the first one we're having.
So we're going to start at the other end, actually.
We're going to start the other end.
We're going to start with the Left Field Cider Company. And so this is the Big Dry. This is their Big Dry. So it's got an ABV of 6%. And you can see from the color, it's super, super light in color.
It's very clear.
But this is a real textbook example of what a true dry cider should be.
It's got the old school brown glass beer bottle look.
You betcha.
So,
yep.
Trying to toughen up the cider.
Yeah. So, it definitely has that nose like.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I'm not saying, the smell's not selling me right now, Dave. The smell is not selling me.
Yeah. Well, this one's just a real simple, plain dry cider.
Yeah. It just tastes like tart apple juice.
Tart apple juice. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you think about a Strongbow, they're so sweet and they're so,
yeah, that ain't sweet.
This is not sweet whatsoever.
No, not at all.
You know, this is their flagship one. It's made from 100% BC apples, fermented with wild and different wine yeasts.
So it's wine and apple kind of thing?
They're using that. Well, they're using a wine style yeast, you know, in it, which will you know,
I could see wine drinkers would probably quite. If you drink white wine, you would probably very much like this.
Absolutely. If you like a Sauv Blanc or even a dry Pilsner, this is your go-to cider for sure.
Yeah. We might get the young bucks in here to try this one. Yeah. So now it's almost like I'm drinking champagne.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
You've really classed this one up here. Look at this bottle.
This is the Domaine de la Minotière. So this is a French cider.
It's Cidre Boucher Brut.
Traditional
bio
Normandy cider.
And so this is from France.
This is from France, yeah. And this is made just in a traditional style. It's made, you know, traditionally like champagne. You know, the fermentation happens in the bottle.
Well, I saw you open it here, and honestly, I thought, I'm like, oh, I guess we're having champagne.
You're gonna have champagne, not
so this isn't champagne.
This is cider.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And so this is more of a wild fermentation, and you can smell the nose on it. It's a little bit funkier, a little bit barnyardy kind of thing. Which, you know, Stephen, you've had him before. He loves those kind of beers.
Well, I definitely would say I like that one better for sure for me. But again, like I'm not people out there. I'm not a cider guy, so.
But very, very unique. And this is the cider that really started to change my mind on that.
Like I could really convince people that I was classier than I am by showing up with this bottle.
Up with a bottle of that.
So it's kind of, I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys? Oh, what's that? Is that champagne? No. It's a little classier. It's a Cidre Boucher.
Cidre Boucher. And these, the Normandy ciders, they're known for sort of bittersweet heritage apples, high tannins. They do that bottle fermentation, so you get those tight bubbles, just like you put it in a champagne.
So what would you like? Do you put these on ice?
You know, some people do put them on ice. And personally, I just, like it chilled.
Just like it chilled? Okay.
Just like nicely chilled. And
to go with anything? Like, do you find cider?
Oh, this would be amazing with food. And particularly this one here, too. You know, if you did this with like a charcuterie board, all the cheeses.
I love the charcuterie boards. Now you're talking my language here.
Stinky cheese, and some spicy, some salami, something like that. Oh, man, this would be amazing with that.
Okay.
Super perfect.
Now we have, now we're going to the Family Farm Last Chance Beverage Company.
Last Chance Cider. This is a Haskap. So it's a fruit blended cider with Haskap berries.
Those Haskap. Yeah, that's kind of like the new chic berry out there. Everybody's like to try the Haskap.
It's been around for a long time, but
well, definitely has a better aroma so far.
So this is, crisp apple again, blended with that tart, antioxidant rich Haskap berry. So, good for you. Antioxidants.
Yeah. Yeah, that just kind of tastes like almost like a tart alcoholic, cranberry juice. I've never really had half of it.
Really comes through strong on that.
Oh, very much.
Yeah, so you definitely.
Yeah, if you like berries, you would very much like that.
Very much, but it's also it's super dry still, right? It's not sweet by any means.
No, none of them are.
None of that sugary stuff, and most of these they don't do any sort of back sweetening either. You'll find that in some of the bigger cider, like a Strongbow or something. Like they're adding sugar in afterwards.
Oh, really?
After the fermentation.
Yeah, man. Gotta keep it high and tight, Dave. It can't be drinking calories.
Gotta keep it high and tight.
Right?
You know
it. Doing that.
You know it. Exactly.
I don't mind that one actually. I like that. It looks fruity.
Looks fruity, and hey, this is one of those ciders, one of those beverages that every once in a while we say at Sherbrooke, you know what would go really good with this? Gin.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Add a little bit of gin with that.
Uh-huh. Now you're
pour it over ice.
It's like you're batting a double, though. That could be.
You got to be careful.
That can catch you pretty quickly.
Make sure you're done mowing the lawn at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Touche. Yeah.
Right on.
Don't have one of those and then go online, basically.
No, exactly. So we're moving on to
now. This is the one that changed your opinion on ciders.
No, it was the French one.
Oh, the big French one.
This is a new one. This is a Bent Stick, which is a local brewery here in town, and they've got a collaboration with.
Is Bent Stick, by the way? Is that like out by New Sarepta?
No, they're over just on Happy Beer Street there, 99th, and
because there used to be a Bent Stick golf course.
Oh, that's right.
By New Sarepta. Didn't last.
So this is So this is dry hopped. So it's a cider, but they've dry hopped it with Citra hops.
Ooh, God.
So,
Dave, you're telling me that like I don't know if you should be smelling ciders as much as you do a beer. Like I like the cider smell is not. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
well, this one's a little bit different. This one reminds me of
very different.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember when you were a kid? You ever have soap candies?
Like Thrills?
Yeah, kind of like the Thrills and stuff, but they're little like wine gums, but they were like a soap candy kind of thing.
Yeah. Oof, buddy, that is a pass for this cat. Oh God.
You know, the citrus really comes through that citra hop. So if you're a fan of a hopped beverage, some you know, we did mead before.
Like it's almost sour.
Almost sour. Yeah, for sure.
Very 25. Like I like the look of the can.
Yep.
Right. Looks like you got one of the wizards from Lord of the Rings on there with the apple and the lightning bolt. Kind of like a shower head in his other hand. So I will say I like the can.
Yeah. So it's that passion fruit cider. You know, if you like cider and you also like, you know, a hazy IPA, this is kind of your go-to a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have
last but not least, we've got the Prairie Bears Cider Co. It's a really tiny, quality obsessed operation here in the Edmonton area. They do everything in house, from pressing the apples to final packaging and everything. And this is their chai cider. So this is infused with real chai spices like cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, clove, things like that.
Well, it smells this one. Now this one smells unreal.
It smells unreal.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
This Jensen, just you know what?
Big bomb.
Oh my God.
Aromatic
That's like
bomb at the end.
One of those you know, when you go over to, well, probably in your wife or your girlfriends, because they have a lot of those in their this smells unreal.
You know, and this thing here, this one's great by, you know, if you like sitting by the campfire. This one would be awesome also as a mulled cider. So wintertime, you know, pour it into a pot, throw in some cinnamon, maybe some anise, things like that.
I put this in a sifter. I could just sit there and smell it. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, great aroma to that. Really fantastic. These are really limited productions. We're one of the only stores that actually carries this one here in Edmonton.
Really?
And one of a few places. So
Prairie Bear Cider.
Prairie Bear Cider.
You kind of salvaged it here at the end, Dave.
Right?
Like you,
I was going to come back.
I was almost in the ditch on TNC, but I got it back on the rails here with the Prairie Bear Cider.
We got to stretch your boundaries.
No, it's very true. I like it because I know we got a lot of people texting, Gregor, get your palate a little bit more cleansed. Hey, you know what? It's fair. Like I said, I'm just not a cider guy, but I will say this: the Prairie Bear Cider. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
The ciders, it's really been growing. It's been a huge growth segment in the last few years, and so got a big following of cider drinkers here in Edmonton, and big section in the cooler. So it's a good place to come.
Hey guys, the buddy was taking rights better from Tarnasky than Gregor is taking these ciders. Well, the difference is I don't keep coming back. I was saying, no, here, hit me again. Hit me again. But I will say the Prairie Bear Cider, like actually three of the five, I could see myself, you know, having again. But two, no. Like the one, I'm not gonna say its name, but just the smell and taste of it. Like, but everybody's different. Right?
Everybody's different. Yeah.
Everybody's. If you like hops, and I don't like hoppy beers, so it's not a surprise I don't like a hoppy cider.
But if you like hops, or you like sour beers, you know.
If you like sour beers,
I think that one really stands out. It's a perfect example of that.
It's sour. Yeah.
And I think, you know, our French one there is, you know, again, if you're doing a food pairing kind of thing, put that at the table, you know, right next to your wine or bubbles or whatever.
I'm going to carry this around. I just feel classy, man. It's like I got a champagne bottle, but it's not even champagne. Now, if I shake it up, is it going to spray like champagne?
Oh yeah, it's got tight bubbles. So that's
you know what? That's the way when your team wins a championship, you don't have to get the Dom Perignon. You get one of these. It looks the same. No one's going to know the difference.
Exactly.
Know the difference. Cost effective.
Totally. Yeah. So
ciders, very different.
And they're starting to, you know, some great ones being made here in Alberta now, which the last one, you know, is a good example of, right? So it's not just BC that's making good ciders, and got some stuff from around the world. So great places to try.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, the thing I like is you go to Sherbrooke and whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you like hops, you know, you like certain type of different cocktails, wines, everywhere, non-alcoholic. I've actually tried a few of the different non-alcoholics, and I quite like them. So every now and then you want to just be like, hey, and what do you call it? Striping? Yes, striping. Yeah. The non-alcoholic Guinness, I got them in my fridge.
It's amazing.
I'm telling you, they're unbelievable.
They're so great.
They are very, like, no joke. You drink a Guinness, you drink the non-alcoholic Guinness. Like, there's a slight difference.
Yeah,
but
a little bit in the body.
Yeah, but not much. Not much at all. So
no, they're fantastic. So Yeah.
How was the trip to BC?
It was good, man. I helped out with the BC bike race. So this is their 19th year, and it's a 7-day mountain bike cross country stage race. So every day they're racing.
It's like the Tour de France of BC.
Kind of like the Tour de France of BC, but like single track trail on mountain bikes. So they're doing about they do about 35 kilometers a day average, but they're climbing over 1,000 meters every day. So it's really intense.
How do you pass someone on that single track?
With great skill or just great politeness, just asking for service for somebody to come by. There's a couple of really good videos out there. Actually, my biking coach, Adam Walker, he came in on, there's a Fox time downhill that they did every day. And in his 50 plus age group, he won every single stage except for the first one because he got a flat tire. So he was knocked out of that one, but really incredible. And there's a couple of good videos of him out there where he's just asking the guy in front, hey, coming through, can I pass on your left? And most riders out there are super polite and they're happy to pull over and let you go.
Yeah. All right.
So there's some cool stuff happening in mountain biking right now in Canada. Also, Jackson Goldstone, I don't know if you follow this at all, but he's a Canadian kid. He just won his 4th World Cup downhill race in a row. That hasn't happened since 2013, and he's tied the record.
Really?
Insane. And we also have another racer, Ellie Hoskin. She's also at a BC at Squamish, and she is the first Canadian woman to win a World Cup enduro race.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
So love it. Awesome stuff, Dave. Have yourself a great week. We will chat with you next Thursday.
Next Thursday, I think you get Steven back again. I'm in a little side trip, but I'll be back the week after that.
Really living the life of Riley, aren't
busy,
you?
busy
Tough
summer.
guy. Yeah, busy guy. Busy guy. There we go. Let's get
Right
to Declan Kruger. He's busy. A Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. You want to work for a fantastic company? Great opportunity. You get a hiring bonus. You'll also get matching RSPs, tuition reimbursement, very competitive wage. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Dallas Stars have made a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins that sends defenseman Matt Dumba to Pittsburgh as a salary dump. In the NBA, Jalen Williams and the OKC Thunder have agreed to a 5-year maximum rookie extension that could be worth up to $287 million. Finals from the MLB today, Cubs 8, Twins 1, and the Orioles in game 1 of the doubleheader with the Mets beat them 3-1. They'll have their doubleheader in about 3 minutes' time here, while the Marlins and Reds will go at 3:10. Wimbledon results, it was 8-seed Iga Swiatek advancing to the final over Belinda Bencic and Amanda Anisimova in a 3-set victory over the top seed, Ariana Sabalenka. Edmonton Riverhawks play their final game in Bellingham tonight, looking to sweep the series against the first-place Fells. And BC defensive lineman Tomoko Tsure has been suspended for 1 game for committing a non-football act and inciting a post-game alteration. The Canadian men's soccer team has made a career-high ranking of number 28 in the latest FIFA World Rankings. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Your Edmonton Elks face the BC Lions this Sunday at 5. Join the prehistoric party presented by Payworks. We're bringing back the Dino Nuggets at concession, Baby Dinosaur Crawl, and bigger, better T-Rex Combine at halftime. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
No matter where your potential customers live, no matter what they watch, read, or listen to, you need a marketing plan that connects with them. Let the marketing experts at Stingray Media Solutions create a turnkey advertising strategy for your business, including radio and TV and out-of-home advertising, social and search ads, plus the creative and production. Find out the most cost-effective ways to reach your target audience and grow your business. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe, and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.307. Welcome back. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Thursday. We got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Lots of texts and such to get to. We also welcome in star of Shoresy, also a former first-round pick in the 1995 NHL entry draft, inductee into the Newfoundland Hall of Fame, and an average karaoke singer. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
Average karaoke singer. Well, I suppose that's a compliment. It means I got up there and I delivered something.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
It's not a bad thing. Like, you're
not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Average is better than below average.
When it comes to something that's out of my, out of my realm of my genre, let's say.
Yeah.
But I am feeling good today. It's a great day. My daughter and I went to Salmon Cove, Newfoundland, about an hour and a half outside the city. Just awesome. It's brimming with positivity and inspiration. I feel overconfident, like the golfer who challenged Nick Tarnowski on the golf course.
Yeah, that wasn't overly bright.
It wasn't.
Well, I'm surprised actually, because I've seen a few people video now everything, right? So I know that encounters on the golf course have happened in the past, and nowadays people film a lot of things. That was one where I don't think anybody had to interject, but it does irk me sometimes when I see a fight and guys getting jumped by 3 or 4 other people and people just keep filming and no one stops it. That irks the hell out of me. But it's slow play in golf, TR. That and hitting up on someone can lead to short fuses very quickly on the golf course.
Well, all I know is that the golfer we mentioned, I mean, I don't know who it is, but I didn't even see the beginning. I mean, I didn't see the whole slow play thing, but he was a little bit fired up. I think maybe not get so inebriated. And who can you imagine me saying this, but maybe not get so inebriated out there, and that you have every bit of confidence that you're probably going to have a chance against a guy like that. I mean, there wasn't much positive to say about the whole situation, but sometimes, what was it Evander Kane said? F around and find out. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's very true. We had Ike Howard on the show in hour number 1, just acquired from Tampa Bay for Sam O'Reilly. So basically, the two guys who are 31st and 32nd overall picks, 2 years apart at the draft. Howard's a winger, O'Reilly's a center. Some people feel O'Reilly probably has a better chance of maybe a longer career because he's a two-way player, but Howard definitely has the better chance of a high-end career. TR, he'll come in. He's 21 years of age. Recent Hobey Baker winners most of them have all stepped into the lineup into the NHL. Different levels of success. Jimmy Vesey and Adam Gaudette are different than guys like Cole Caulfield or Celebrini or Eichel or Johnny Gaudreau, many others. So I look at Howard. What's your expectations for him?
My expectation is that he's going to make it and play in the top 6. I think he might surprise. I don't know how much surprising it'll be doing because, a point level, I really don't know. But I don't know, 50. I mean, this guy, 21 as well, right? Like,
yeah.
People look at players who come in. I know that Bedard was looked at as generational, but we're used to watching him now for a couple of years. He's 19. He did the next year he's 20, and then the year after that he's 21. So and that's one real positive about a player who really comes into their own in college. I know he's a first-round pick, but he really blossomed. And last season was one for the ages. I think 26 goals in 37 or 38 games. I mean, I agree. I was excited about O'Reilly. I think he is the complete package. But for what the Oilers need now and what he could be, I don't know if I want to use the word excited, but I'm definitely, as an Oilers fan, inspired. Let's say that. I think he seems not overly cocky, but he has a lot of confidence. And he's talking in terms of, I want to be here. I want to learn from the best players in the world. I'm excited to be in Edmonton. I think everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing adds up to, knock on wood here, the guy doesn't get hurt. But I see some level of success coming in to be that talented and fairly confident. And, he's 21 years old. He's not 18. And like you said, he does have great leaders that have been there. And sky's the limit, I see. And I'm calling, you didn't ask specifically, let's say 55 points. There you go.
What?
I am.
Jeez. That.
Yeah, I think he's going to, hold me to that. I really do.
I will, man. That's a lofty number. The Oilers had 2 forwards who had 55 points last year.
I think he's going to play with one of those. 55. 2 forwards who had 55 points.
Yes, that's it. Only 2. Evan Bouchard's the only other one who was over 55. He had 67.
Yeah, injuries and whatnot. And Nuge had 100 and something the year before. I just think he's going to end up playing with one of those guys. His up end is through the roof. Unless he gets hurt, I don't see him getting 20 points. Right? So I don't know. I just now I know 55 is lofty, but
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm confident, and I think he's a great player. And I don't think it's going to be as much of an adjustment as a lot of young players for many reasons I think I already mentioned.
Well, he'll have the advantage playing with those 2 guys. If he gets to play, I think he'll get a look there for sure. I just 55 points, man, is massive. I went through all the, recent Hobey Baker guys and having success. Now, we just saw Celebrini, who was younger, but he also, he's playing all the power play time, right? That's where you get to, your extra points. And I don't see Howard on the first unit power play, although I do think the second unit power play is actually going to play more this season. I firmly believe that McDavid and Draisaitl, they're going to play a lot. I'm not talking like it's going to be a 50-50 split, but I think you'll see the odd power play where the second unit starts, especially if McDavid or Draisaitl have been on the ice for a minute or so when the whistle goes and there's a penalty. I think we're going to see that at different times. I think they realize they'd like to get a few more guys some cookies and some points. It helps with their offensive confidence. I'm a firm believer in that. So
yeah,
I think we will see that this year. So, Howard, maybe you can come in like 55 points would be off the charts. Good, man. Like I'm just trying to think in Oiler history, how many rookies has scored 55 points? Like it's like McDavid. Now he got hurt, so he would have scored it, but he didn't score it because he got hurt. So 55 points for a rookie in the NHL is incredibly difficult. So, God, if you're right, then the Oilers, if he has 55 points, they're having one hell of a year. There's no doubt about that in my eyes. But I'm trying to think in the career, Jason Arnott, Yari Curry. I think, you know what?
He's unique, though.
Yeah.
You're naming unique players, but how many players have won the Hobey Baker and come in with 52 points in a college season? I would probably say just as many.
Yeah. I have to look it up, but I think those are the only two that come to my mind who had more than 55. Although Dave Lumley's close to that. I remember Lummer. Now he was a little bit older of a rookie, but still, as well. So is Ike Howard. But I'll get the Declan to look it up. But I think Lummer might have had over 55 points. He'll text me if he's listening for sure. If he did, so we'll see. But it's hard, man. Like I remember reading. I know Nugent Hopkins. Glenn, I think the order is because Gretzky wasn't considered a rookie, so we have to exclude him. It's weird, but he wasn't. David got hurt. So I think in order of history, I think there's 5 guys who've had 50 points. If my memory's correct. And I can't remember if Lumley was over 55 or not, but I'll hold you to it. That is a lofty prediction, TR. It's a lofty prediction. I know Oilers fans, they won't mind it because if he has 55 points, and that means Oilers are having a pretty good season. No question. So, Lumley did have 58. Nice. So there's a 3 over 55, and Anderson and Nugent Hopkins had 53 and 52. Now Nugent Hopkins got injured and missed 20 games, so he probably would have had over 55 too. So it's hard to do though. So we'll see. You look at the orders, then they bring in Howard. Do you think you can have Howard, Mangiapane, and Savoy TR in your top 9 in the playoffs?
Oh, that's a great question. And one, I think, that requires the regular season here. Yeah. I think you can. For 2 of those 3, and my 55-point prediction, I don't want to get ahead of myself there. Even if that happens, I know it's a take, but even if that happens, which I think it will, I think he'll be up for Rookie of the Year as well. But the playoffs are a different animal. And Savoy, even though he doesn't have much experience, he has way more pro experience than Isaac does. But yeah, I think they can. That's it. They might have to. Who knows what's going to happen? This year. Not a lot of people are bringing up that Hyman got hurt here in the playoffs, and he was one of the main. He stirred the pot. He played hard. He did everything you wanted him to do. He was hitting. He raised his game. A, people like that influence young players, and B, players like that might be hurt. So yeah, I think they're good enough, and the Oilers have proved they're good enough. They've been there twice. They've had to really change things up, and they're in rock and a hard place for a lot of this summer, but they'll figure that out. They freed up space, and yeah, I think they'll end up getting players through trade or signing or whatever that those 3 probably won't have to. But yes, I think they could. You asked me if they can. Sure, they can.
Quickly, Matt Dumba acquired today by Pittsburgh for and a pick for a younger prospect. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby has 2 years left on his deal. Do you believe he plays the next full 2 seasons in Pittsburgh?
I don't want him to, but given recent evidence, you would think. But really, if I was a betting man, I think, and I am, I think this will get old. I don't know about this year. I could see him next year, or at some point, he's going to have to really get sick of it. They're going to go on like a 12-game losing streak. sooner than later. And yeah, I do think he goes. And I think he goes to somewhere like Colorado, which is somewhat predictable given Nathan McKinnon. He'll go somewhere like that we probably should have seen coming. I don't know about the Leafs. I don't know about the Oilers. But clearly the Penguins, people wonder and speculate on why he stays in Pittsburgh. And well, I think maybe he was drinking the Kool-Aid right up until now. I think last year he still really thought that they could make the playoffs and they could do something. Not that Sidney Crosby is the coach and GM, but he has huge influence. So this year, I think as we're seeing the stars align and everything fall into place, I think now as a realist, he would have to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins and know that, hey, A, they're not going anywhere in the next few years, and B, he could really help the team by being moved. So yes, I think he'll be moved. If I had to guess, I would say the Colorado Avalanche because Nathan McKinnon is there. Who am I to say that? Nobody. I'm an Atlantic Canadian. I hope for that. But yes, I think he will be moved at some point, and whatever philosophy he's been going with for the last little bit, I think will come crashing down like a house of cards when they go on a big losing streak.
Quick break. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We'll return. We got Ryan's Rants and more on The Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Well, get ready for a silly, hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart People. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used club car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go models. The Golf Cart People stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart People at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
Alberta is already the economic engine of Canada, but we could be so much more prosperous if Ottawa would work with us, rather than attack our economy and jobs. The status quo needs to change, but how? The Alberta Next panel wants to hear from you on how we can best strengthen Alberta's sovereignty and position within a united Canada. Please visit alberta.ca/next and tell us what you think Alberta's next step should be. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at sherbrooke.liquor.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Terry Ryan, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday as you probably plan out your weekend. What are you doing? Maybe you go to the Elks game on Sunday. The Stingers are on the road. The Riverhawks are on the road. Maybe you'll be maybe you'll be going to Oakland to watch the Jays. They're on fire. They're in Oakland for their final series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday before the All-Star break. As Terry Ryan joins us, it's time for TR's Tales, Ryan's Rant, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings at Action, because whether you are, if you're a building owner, you can get a refundable federal tax rebate up to 30% off a project's capital costs. So if it's a $500,000 solar project, you'll get $150K back. Pretty sweet deal. ActionElectrical.net. As TR, you got the floor.
Well, I thought I sent you a text. I don't have a rant today.
Oh, what the hell? Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I didn't.
I'm at my daughter's practice. I don't have a rant, so we can talk about whatever. I guess we could talk about the. I don't understand why the schedule is 84 games. Why did we go back from 84 in the first place? What was the reason for that?
Well,
was it because there's too many games?
Well, it only was 84 for 2 years, right? And it was only 84 for 2 seasons. Then the lockout came, and I think part of the new CBA was they were going back to 82, and that was, I don't really know why they jumped from 80 to 84. Well, to me, it's 84, but there's only a maximum, Terry, of 4 preseason games now. So you look at the Oilers. The Oilers had 8 preseason and 82, so they had 90 games. Now they're down to 88 max, and also veterans who have played 100 games or more only can play 2 preseason games. So while they do play 2 more regular season games, now they're only playing a max of 86. And, you look, Connor McDavid used to play 3 or 4 preseason games. Now he's only going to play 2. So I think they're going to 84. Well, because funny enough, they couldn't figure out the most simple equation of, well, we really want to have 4 division games. I'm like, yes, Sherlock, take out 2 games for a Pacific Division team against the Central. Then you still have an 82-game season. But now it's a balanced schedule until they expand, which I find comical. But so that I think a big reason why is they wanted to make sure that everybody would play 4 games in the division, even though they could have done that anyway and just played 6 teams in the other division in your conference 3 times and 2 teams rotated. You would play them twice. It wouldn't have been that difficult, but they elect for 84 because M to the O to the NEY is why they did it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing the reason they went back, even though it was a long time ago, it's still 2 full seasons. I'm guessing they did it because the players didn't want to play so many games. I've always just thought, I know it'll never go, like, I think it should go way backwards. I think if you look at the 4 major sports, and I'll give you a lot of reasons, I mean, just off the top of my head, but we got a weapon in our hands. You can't go out of bounds. You're going faster than every other sport. It's more physical than every other sport. Yes, there's hits. There's also, you can drop your gloves. You can punch someone bare knuckle in the face and come back in the same game. I just think it's by far the most taxing sport. People say football, okay, 17 games. Football, you could win the Super Bowl, and you still haven't played as many games as the Oilers played in the playoffs this year, minus the 80-odd in exhibition and all that. So I've always thought it's way too long, and it's impossible for players. I mean, look at all these players that people covet. Whether you're talking about Vander Kane or Sam Bennett or Marchand or whoever, right? And usually at the trade deadline in the off season, no matter what way our game goes, and people say it's getting soft, those are always the guys that people want at trade time. Those are always the players that are most coveted, the players that can do it all. And by all, play physical as well. And it's just hard to do that over all those games. And I just think it should be 60-odd, let alone 84. Anyway, I've always thought that way. And I know my experience in professional hockey was limited to, and junior hockey, I guess we played 72. I thought that was long. Just, for someone who, if you want to really go out and give it your all, I don't think it's possible in 84 games to go out and do that. Hence Sam Bennett stepping up every year. Well, he's some playoff player, they say. I'm like, yeah, because he's got his foot off the gas half the year. He has to. There's no way that you could do that. So anyway, I've always felt it's too long, and just this extra 2 games. If I'm a player, I'm disgusted. There you go. There's my rant.
All right. Well, there you go. It's pretty easy. So you're not a fan of the extra 2. Now, I was looking at a lot of the other things in play. There are a few little tweaks in the CBA that I don't know. I put it out there, but no longer are the paper transactions allowed to send a guy to the minors. So teams that had a player, like if you were San Jose, you're Vancouver, heck, other teams did it as well, where you could send a guy who was on a 2-way deal. You would send him down to your minor league team. He would never actually go. He would stay in the city. But because he was on a 2-way deal, for those 2 days, Terry, he got paid AHL money instead of NHL money because the NHL team got to accrue cap space. Well, and save a little bit of money, but it was more about cap space. And so I know people are saying, wow, what's the big deal? Well, here's the deal. Because you're going from making $4,000 a day to $400 a day. That's a pretty significant difference. Now, you do that for, I know San Jose used to do it often. Right? You do that 5-6 times a year. That's a difference of $50,000 for some guys, right? So that's a big difference, right? Or $30,000, I should say, not 50. And so they wanted to, 50, because they would do it 2 days at a time, right? That's 12 days, $4,000 a day. You're talking $50,000. So now they changed the rule that if a player is sent down, they have to play a game in the American League. Now, it's basically to protect the players from doing it, because the only reason teams did it was to save the cap space. And so, $4,000 a day might not seem like a lot, but they prorate it. It can add up to a little bit over time, but not a massive amount of it. But it is interesting that they got that put into the new CBA. I kind of like that deal. I don't think it's not abused that much, but by the ones who do get abused, like, that's a significant difference for a young player. We're talking 10 times your salary.
Oh, yeah. No, that's very significant. So wait, are you saying that the players are going to get the money then, right?
No, they're going to, if they get put down, they have to play a game in the minors before they can get recalled.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. So we're covering over a little bit of a loophole.
Yeah. Well, not even a loophole. It's just, you're protecting like, if the team wants to send a guy down, then they're going to have to send him down, because let's say in the American League, you play games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes you'll play a Tuesday, Wednesday, but a lot of weeks you don't. So the NHL team, we play Saturday, we don't play again till Tuesday. Well, we're going to send the guy down Sunday, Monday, recall him on Tuesday. Right? But now you can't do that, because he'd have to stay down in the minors until he has to play a game. And teams don't want to do that, because the player's good enough to play for us. We're just doing this to save space. So now they won't be able to do it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And the player will have to at least play a game. So it's going to change the entire landscape. You won't be able to do that anymore. Well, I probably file that under the logical category. I can see why you would want to make that change. Is it going to help or hurt the Oilers? I don't know. Each case is different. I think the whole league will have to adjust. And I don't have any problem with that rule.
No, I think it's good for the players. There's a few other things that I found interesting, TR, is that now teams have to have 2 therapists on staff, so players don't have to wait as long to get treatment.
I like that. And by the way, I want to go somewhere else. I got a question for you. I like that. And that's a real underrated. I've always said it. The training staff, the medical staff are so underrated. No one talks about them much. And when players come off, even in my day when, sound like my grandfather, but when there was less attention paid to the physical body, it was still, I remember having to often having to go outside the dressing room because there just wasn't enough hands on staff. And that was in fairly recent history. So that's a good thing. I'm asking you, what about this goalie department versus goalie coach? And why wouldn't every team have a goalie department? If it's me, the way the Major League Baseball is with pitchers, I would treat that the same. I would treat goalies the same if I had an organization to run myself. And we always had that in Montreal. By the way, I was just going over it, telling a story to my buddy. In Montreal, so when I was in Fredericton for 2 years, our goalies down there were Mathieu Garon, Jose Theodore, and Thomas Vokoun. We had all 3 of them. And up top, it was Jocelyn Thibault and Pat Jablonski. So outside of Jabber, everybody was a young prospect. And I remember Francois Allaire, I think was his name. And I remember he had goalies under him. They were always being. I remember we had a reputation for overcoaching the goalies, and that became a thing. I understood why it was a thing, and I saw them working with these guys. I saw Jose Theodore go from playing with us in Fredericton to being the MVP of the NHL 2 years later. And I think it benefited everybody. So why have only a coach? Why doesn't every team have a department? And am I just missing something with this? We
talked to this Kevin Woodley yesterday. I wrote about it. I think I have 14 teams in the NHL who have it. And here's the reason why, TR. Cheap. There's no other reason. They don't want to spend the money. There is one, and I know now for the average human, this is a lot of money. But you have a goalie coach in the NHL who their salary is $135K. They're making less than infinitely less than a lot of the other assistant coaches on the team and other people in different departments, because some teams just don't value their goalie coach. Like Kevin Woodley had the great example. He goes, if you look at how many young players now start out in the ECHL as goalies, and there's no goalie coach to be around for a lot of the franchises, and they're like, hey, just go figure it out. What? Right? So if you had a proper department, then one of your guys would be down there working with them, because that's where lots of your young goalies are starting out now, because that's what they needed. The jump from junior and NCAA to pro hockey is massive. And so lots of goalies are starting in the ECHL, but a lot of them are down there just left to to figure it out themselves, according to Woodley. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense it doesn't make sense for any player, but for such an important player on your team, in the sport, for your organization. And these guys, the goalies not only are important, but they're often somewhat of a face for the organization. You would want to set them up for the best kind of success possible. And in my mind, I mean, I figured a goalie department. I never really looked into it, but I'm just hearing these words be uttered. I thought every team had that for the last 20 years. I'm really surprised, given the attention to detail and so many other things. And, in this day of analytics, doesn't it point right to that? Like analytics, like it's kind of important for a goalie. And if we're going that route, don't the analytics tell you that we need to have these guys adjusted? We have to have them ready. We have to draft a certain way. Like right from the draft, you should know what kind of players you have. And when it comes to being a goalie, wouldn't you want some kind of relative common denominator there to help them along? I think our game is coming a long way, and it's tough for me to think of ways that we're really kind of prehistoric, but that's one. If whatever teams don't have a goalie department, I think are playing with fire.
Quick break. When we come back, massive change. Is it going to lead to more success? Or is it going to lead to, I don't even know if tanking's allowed in racing, but we'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Quick break.
Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Landscaping this summer? Call Bashaw Concrete Products. That's right, more than concrete. Their landscaping division has everything you're after. A huge selection of P-rock, washed rock, and sand, gray limestone, red shale, mulch, compost, landscape fabric, and topsoil. Plus, the full line of Barkman products, including pavers, retaining wall blocks, fire pits, and precast planters. Landscape products made for your outdoor living space. Residential or commercial, start here. BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Ah, yes, the majestic air swing. Don't fret, Colonial Golf Club welcomes all skill levels, even those who struggle to make contact. Colonial's championship course is designed to challenge pros, entertain amateurs, and provide just enough hazards to keep things interesting.
Oops.
Well, at least the Ducks are impressed. Colonial Golf Club, just south of Edmonton, down 50th Street. Book your tee time now at colonial.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, it's Culligan.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.45. Welcome back. Thirsty Thursday here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game today because it's the Daily Grand. Your chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Oh, just be awesome. Wake up every morning, $1,000. Boom. What are you doing today? Doesn't matter. Just made $1,000. Nice. Let's get to the race report brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Well, simple. Buy Canadian. And Cantork's products, not only made in Canada, but made right here in Edmonton. Support Canada at cantork.com. As Colin Livingston joins us once again. And oh, goodness, no shortage of stories in the racing world right now. I want to start with let's start with the positive one, because it's not often that you have somebody race as long as Mr. Hockenberg has. And finally, 239 races, and he finally makes his way to the podium.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome and was so happy. I'm always making notes during the races because frankly, there's a lot of things that happen that are very obvious in the moment, but my memory isn't great at my age anymore. That, you know, a lot of time I forget about a detail, but I had this whole thing structured, and then there's a bunch of bombshell stuff that happens. But yeah, honestly, truly a great guy. I've never met Nico personally, but a really, really, really good friend of ours from Montreal is pretty good friends with him. I've heard behind the scenes, he's truly as friendly and as thoughtful behind closed doors as he is in front of the cameras. But, you know, about time that he was able to close it. He's had a lot of close calls, but this is not exactly the same, but there was always a title in golf about the greatest golfer to never win a major. Yeah. And this is kind of the equivalent. So yeah, 239 races, and he finally gets it done. Yeah. With Lewis Hamilton on his bumper.
And for a while there, it looked like Lewis was going to catch him, right? Like he was tracking to do it, but then he was able to fend him off, and not just fend him off, but kind of, I wouldn't say win easily, but it wasn't really ever that close.
Once it started drying out, Nico's car was a bit better and his tires were a bit better.
Yeah.
Lewis, you know, he made no secret of the fact that his car was, but his own words said it was the most difficult car he's ever driven at Silverstone, you know, and Lewis isn't the kind of guy, you know, love him or hate him. People always have a bunch of perceptions, but he doesn't make excuses when he makes a mistake. So yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, a lot of these cars really seem like they're a handful. But the stat that I saw when looking at Nico's career, he's only got one pole, and he's known as one of the best qualifiers of all time, not based on his result, but based on what he does with the cars. When he got his first pole, it was in his rookie year as everything was looking good. He out-qualified Sebastian Vettel by over a second in Brazil. Mm-hmm. The entire field in Q1 has been separated by less than a second from first to 20th, the last two races. So it's insane how competitive things are nowadays.
Yeah, it is kind of wow. What do you make though? How like that's just I thought it was interesting. They only had 2 bottles of champagne, so that some of the other big like Red Bull and those other guys lent them some champagne because they always keep it on track because they're used to winning. And these guys, Hauser just was like, wow, we don't really need that many because we're not planning on winning.
Yeah, I only read the after report say like Mercedes said that they had sent some. I didn't know that they actually ran out.
Yeah, well, they only had 2 bottles to start. So yeah.
See, I can come and learn from you now. This is how far this race report's come.
Yeah. So no, I just found that was pretty interesting. And you know, a guy like that, when you finally get on there after all that time, I'm sure it's just a relief and probably really rejuvenates him a little bit to say, okay, all this time, you know, he's been in he started in 2010, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we're talking 15 years and finally get on the podium.
Just last week, we're talking about how, you know, whatever they call themselves, Sauber, kick something, stake something. They've got more points in the last 3 races than Red Bull.
Yes. And that's a great segue. Now Red Bull, Mr. Horner is out. And It's really like this kind of started 3 years ago, right? When their co-founder, Mateschitz, passed away. It just seems like ever since then, it's been a lot of people trying to grab control of it. So I look at it this way. Is this Red Bull saying, man, we know we're just going down the tube, so we don't want this guy. There's another investigation that still might come to light here. Or is this saying, hey, if we're going to keep Max, and we know there's been lots of the Verstappen camp doesn't like the Horner camp, couldn't this salvage Max at all, do you think, to stay in Red Bull?
So I have my own personal theory, and it was pretty much validated today that I believe Red Bull has found out. Again, I'm going to say this 100% clearly. This is my opinion. This is not a fact, but I believe Red Bull found out formally from Max that he's decided to leave the team. They've taken a look. This clearly isn't based on one issue that's happened. It's not because of one thing or it's this implosion and this deconstruction of their entire team. They've lost not necessarily everyone, but they've lost multiple key members of their management, their executive. They lost their designer, their sporting director. They've lost their chief designer. And these people have left. Not like Jonathan Wheatley. He became the team principal over at Sauber. So that's definitely a move up, but I don't think he would have left if the environment was great. And there's kind of three factions within the company of Red Bull, not just Red Bull Racing. So there's the Austrian family, which the matriarch passed away last year.
Right.
There's the Thai family that actually came up with the recipe for Red Bull, where he decided, he partnered with them. He decided to start marketing it. And that's how the whole thing kind of took off out of Thailand. And then there's another dude that owns a 2% share.
2%?
49 and 2.
Come on.
Yep. The Austrian side was always protective of Horner. And, as well, I think the Thai family had a lot of support.
Okay.
And it seems like within the ownership, it's the 2% dude that's kind of flipped his vote and said, look, this has to change. I think, again, the catalyst was when Max came to him and said, again, my opinion, which I've got to follow up with, for lack of a better term, his brother-in-law, Nelson Piquet Jr., Max is dating Piquet's sister. So they've got a baby together. They've been in a relationship for a long time. He was on a podcast, I think it was today, where he was talking about the struggles that, Red Bull had. And then he talked about the struggles of Mercedes, but how it seems like they're getting better and that it really looks optimistic. And he actually said, we'll find out what it's like when Max is there next year, basically saying that he knew that Max has already signed and that it's agreed to that he's going to be at Mercedes. So this is going to be another thing that's likely going to, it's been widely speculated, but it's never been confirmed from anyone within Max's camp or anyone that would have direct knowledge with it. So it's going to be huge.
Well, yeah, I would think it would be big. But because if he leaves, then George Russell might be leaving. Like there's a big trickle down effect because they had Hamilton and they had Russell.
Yep.
So do they have the funds to keep both of them?
I don't think Mercedes is hurting for dollars. They spend a lot more wisely than some teams. It would make sense that if Max comes to join Mercedes, that Red Bull would make a very strong push to gain the services of Russell. They won't have them both on the same team, more than anything because Kimi is their heir apparent. We know that Max doesn't want to race into his 40s. So even if he's continuing to win championships under whatever umbrella, he's not going to do, he's not going to stay in F1 forever.
Okay.
They want Antonelli to kind of grab the reins. I could see Russell making it over to Red Bull. It's going to be a struggle for them. Like the amount that they're going to have to work, the people that they're going to have to promote and replace and train and develop. They've got their work cut out for them for sure.
And would Horner get back in, or do you think he's done? And does a lot of it depend on this upcoming case?
Yes. And his contract runs through 2030. So, by firing him,
they're paying big money.
They're paying him. And likely what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of negotiation behind the scenes to say, okay, you've got this much money remaining on your contract. We'll pay you that amount out, but you've got to sit on the sidelines the next 5 years, or we'll give you a chunk of this, which will allow you to get back into the sport at this point of time. Or if you've got something else, then they need to go through the gardening leave where he might take over. I mean, the likely place for him would be Alpine, but that's going to take some time to sort through. I mean, even as they were doing the separation with Perez, which was pretty cut and dry, he held their feet to the fire and made them pay. So I don't see why Christian wouldn't do the same thing.
Yeah, that would make sense. So you look at now, this could happen as early as you believe this offseason that Max leaves. Because doesn't he have it in he's under contract for 3 more years? I know there's some out clauses, right? So he would leave, but you were saying that he might even pay them money to leave?
He could potentially have, and there were a bunch of stories that were posted the last couple of days talking about how what's the likelihood that Mercedes would help compensate Red Bull for bringing him over early. That's situation number 1. Situation number 2 is Max has a suitable clause that says, without this person, without this position, if I'm not in the top 3, top 4, the team's not this, that, or the other thing, he can simply go to him and say, I'm executing this clause. I'm not coming back next year without any penalty. So, but I think at the end of the day, these teams and these drivers have shown it doesn't matter how ironclad the contract is. You can make the move pretty much anytime you want. It's just a matter of what it costs. And it's always down to money.
Now, quickly, let's get to the race recap. You have right now McLaren's on a different level than everybody else. I think that's obvious. Like they're winning by a significant margin. Piastri, he didn't they never do anything wrong. I found in F1. The drivers, that's not true. Sainz, when he made the mistake, he admitted it right away says, hey, you know what? I screwed up there. Away we go. Some guys do it. Lando Norris did it the other day when he said, hey guys, that's on me. But Piastri was like, well, I don't think I broke too hard. Well, and then they were talking about, do you think he has a case here to stop? You do?
100%.
Okay.
Because the first caution car, when he was behind the car, he was driving slightly faster and applied harder brake pressure. There was no penalty. There was no issue.
Okay.
I think it was Norris that was behind him at the time. There was no issue on track. The second time, a few laps later, less top speed, less brake pressure, but because I think the visibility was worse during the second car, Max didn't see it. He had to swerve. That caused the stewards to take a look at it. At the end of the day, I don't disagree that there should have been a penalty. I think the penalty was too severe, though. They could have imposed a 5-second penalty.
Okay.
And in that case, he would have been able to go back and race. It wouldn't have handed the win directly to Lando. It could have still turned out the exact same way, but I think it was just a little bit too harsh.
A little bit too harsh. Okay, so he had a legit beef.
I believe so.
Okay, it didn't really hurt McLaren because 1-2 it hurts Piastri. Really, that's all it hurts. It doesn't hurt them.
The championship is getting
close.
tighter,
Which is good.
Yeah,
and those two haven't been afraid to race. So who do you like better now to the end? If you had to pick, who do you think wins?
Piastri.
Why?
Because he's far more level-headed. He's way less emotional. Whether he's emotional or not, that's the wrong way to put it, because you never know what the person's going through when they've got that helmet on. But Lando is, you hear way more elation when he's high. You hear way more dejection when he's low. He really beats himself up when things don't go the right way, when, he feels he makes a mistake, where Piastri has that calm demeanor. He doesn't make a big reaction. You never hear him, really pissed off, where most of the other drivers, you can hear when something happens. The thing that drivers never say is, more than anything, they're not really angry. They're scared because someone just did something where they could have got seriously hurt. And drivers, all you hear is the anger, but more than anything, it's fear. And nobody likes to admit that that's part of the game. But with Piastri, he's just quiet. He's calculating. He's very patient. He's not afraid to seize opportunity. But I think long term, the long game, as we like to call it, I think he's just got more of the building blocks. But I also think, to be fair, McLaren is sent a signal that by not protesting and not, even asking for a right of review to this point over that penalty, that they essentially escalated Lando to their number one driver status. Now they're going to say they can keep racing, and they're going to say, but if they would have challenged that penalty, which I think they should have, if nothing else for clarity down the road, they're not challenging it, saying that they don't want to upset what could potentially happen with Lando's win at the expense of, or to the betterment of Piastri. So I think McLaren has shown that they don't have a lot of really good structure for team orders. They are afraid or unwilling to put one driver over the other in the race. And there's no doubt that they're going to win the Constructors' Championship, but I think between the two drivers, it's got the potential to get ugly.
And quickly, we'll go to IndyCar. Scott Dixon wins. That's his 59th career. That's second behind AJ Foyt, who has 67.
Yeah.
Dixon's won at least one race 21 consecutive years, which is obviously the longest run ever in IndyCar. Geez, that might be the longest run in F1 too, I would think.
By a long ways. Yeah.
So do you think Dixon can get 8 more wins and catch AJ or tie AJ Foyt?
No, I think
not this year, but just in his career. No,
would never bet against him. But Scott doesn't have a lot of years left, not because he's not performing, but there comes a time where it's like, how much more do you want to give to I mean, he's only won 1 or 2 races the last couple of years. To close those 8 on the pace he's at would require 4 more years of racing at the very least. I just don't think he's got the time, but he does it in such a professional, he's not always the fastest guy, but when they look at the strategy and they execute, he's the best at running these fuel mileage races where everybody else was running 3 pit stops during the race. He only ran 2. It came down to Palou making a mistake towards the end. I think there were only 3 or 4 laps left. Palou drove himself off the track with Scotty closing. And I mean, he just kind of he couldn't believe it when he saw it. I watched an interview with him. He's like, I didn't know what was going on when I saw it was Palou and how slow he was going. He's like, I did everything. I hit the overtake button. I hit the hybrid button. He's like, he was hitting everything just to make sure he got around him. But I mean, I just love that because Scott's truly one of the nicest guys in all of racing, and couldn't be happier for him.
Colin, great stuff, buddy. We will chat with you next Thursday.
Thanks for not talking about yesterday's golf.
Hey, buddy, that's all right. We got a lot of summer to talk about that. Let's get to Declan Cougar and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Are you looking at improving your son or daughter's game? Custom training, cutting-edge technology on and off the ice. You can get a membership for a month for $300. You get up to 18 sessions. Those are 45 minutes to an hour-long sessions. Do the math in your head. Not getting cheaper ice time than that with great instruction. Check it out at 01 ZERONE.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
MLB Finals from earlier was the Cubs over the Twins 8-1, and in Game 1 of their doubleheader, the Orioles over the Mets 3-1. Game 2 of that doubleheader currently sees the Orioles leading 3-2. The Reds in the only other game lead the Marlins 2-0. NHL news: the Dallas Stars have made a trade with the Penguins in a salary dump move that sends defenseman Matt Dumba to Pittsburgh. The Colorado Avalanche have also signed defenseman Josh Manson to a 2-year contract extension. In the NBA, Jalen Williams and the OKC Thunder have agreed to a 5-year max rookie extension that could be worth up to $287 million. In Wimbledon earlier today was Iga Swiatek in her semifinal match, getting through to the final. Amanda Anisimova winning as well against first seed Ariana Sabalenka. Edmonton Riverhawks play their final game in Bellingham tonight, looking to sweep the series against the first-place Bells. And the Canadian men's soccer team have made a career high number 28 in the latest FIFA rankings. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
When you look at a pipe, we just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
Out on the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Your Edmonton Elks face the BC Lions this Sunday at 5. Join the prehistoric party presented by Payworks. We're bringing back the Dino Nuggets at concession, baby dinosaur crawl, and bigger, better T-Rex combine at halftime. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen when I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob. But less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
And that's NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers, try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.409, welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday afternoon. When we got a lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. And talking about Oilers, talking about Elks, talking about racing, which is great. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, guys, curious, what's your thoughts on TR? Gregor, you seemed a little surprised when he made his prediction. Well, yeah, I'm surprised. I think people, like, 55 points is damn hard. Okay? It's damn hard. Like, I'm going to say right now, I would be absolutely floored, blown away if Ike Howard gets 55 points. Like, blown away. So I honestly, I don't even think it's realistic, if I'm being bluntly honest. Like, if he scores 40 points, that's a really good year. Okay? It's a really good year. It just is. So there's not, I got to find it last year. How many forwards in the NHL had 55 points last year? I'm going to guess like maybe 90. So like 3 per team. So Draisaitl, McDavid are locks. Then, okay, there's Hyman. I guess you could say, hey, there's someone else. So I guess statistically, if you want to make that argument, I actually looked it up, 94 players. So just under 3 per team. And now I got to dig a little deeper to, and then I want to look up power play points, because obviously that's going to be a factor, right? Because if you're not going to be on the top unit power play, which I would be surprised if Howard was. So now I'm looking at, out of those guys who had 55 points, which is 94 of them, how many of them, even strength points? Well, you're talking the lowest total was 30 from Patrick Kane, and he had 29 on the power play. So the lowest power play, maybe it's probably better to go through the lowest power play total. Well, Alexi Protas, he did it, and he only had 1 power play point. Anthony Cirelli did it. He had 5. Paul Horvat, Brock Nelson, 7. Morgan Geekie, 9. So 5 guys in the league had 55 points, where 9 or fewer were on the power play. So you can do it, but we're talking, very veteran guys, and Nelson, Horvat, Cirelli made Team Canada, and then Alexi Protas had an unreal breakout year, 30 goals, 36 points. They were one of the best 5-on-5 scoring teams. So is it possible? 1,000%. Possible and likely are 2 very different things. So yeah, I'm surprised that, because I think there's a lot of people that, 55 points, you're going to play with McDavid, you're going to play with Draisaitl. Yeah. How many wingers in Edmonton have scored 55 points the last few years? Nugent Hopkins did it. Hyman's done it. I think that's it. I gotta look up, McDavid, Draisaitl obviously have done it. Hyman's done it twice. Nugent Hopkins. That's it. No one else. So sure, 2 guys have done it now, and I'm going over a 4-year span. They each did it twice since 2022, because 21 obviously was a shortened season. So I'm not going to prorate. I don't like prorating. Let's just look at the actuals. That was it. So, and I know Hyman was banged up last year, but he was still, 11 points shy. Would have needed 11 points in 12 games to do it. Well, it wasn't on that pace in his other games of the season. So honestly, I think people need to have realistic expectations. Like, I'm not sold that Ike Howard is going to be in the top 6. Why people are just jumping to that conclusion? Like, I saw Stoff put it out there. First line winger. He might get a look there. He might get 10 games. Fair. But to think he's just going to stay there, like, you're going to have to produce. Because when you play with McDavid, that means you play against the other team's best players. And that means now you can't just be offensive minded. If you're getting outscored all the time, well, guess what? That's not working. So we can look at it from an offensive standpoint, but then you also have to look at the defensive style. Is he going to be good enough? And I don't expect him to be Patrice Bergeron, right? Doesn't have to be Podkolzin even, who is more reliable defensively than he was offensively. So, yeah, I get it's the summertime and people want to be excited, but I think there's got to be a level of, like, hey, I hope he does it, man. That would be unreal. It's just hard, right? That, like, just so not even throw in 50 points. Let's just throw in 50 points for rookies. How many rookies have scored 50 points the last few seasons in the National Hockey League, right? Like, there's a few. Do you want to know how many over the last 4 seasons, how many rookies have scored 50? And I'm talking 55 points. 7. So less than an average of 2. Last year, Michkov and Celebrini did it. They each had 63. In 24, Connor Bedard, 61. 23, Matt Beniers, 57. 2022, Lucas Raymond, Trevor Zegras, Michael Bunting, who was a little bit older of a rookie, but still, he was a rookie. Now, Celebrini was young, Bedard was young, all right? And so Howard has an advantage. He's 21. I don't say that as a negative. I know some people will say, well, you know what? Because he wasn't in the NHL at 19 and these guys were, that means he's not as good. I totally disagree. Was Leon Draisaitl successful as a teenager in the NHL? He was not. Has he been successful in his 20s in the NHL? Incredibly so. So I never, it's not a sprint. This guy got here quicker. He's automatically going to be better. I don't buy into that at all. So, but just, you need to have rational expectations on Ike Howard. That's all. Just be rational, right? Because even when you go, I said there were 7 guys at 55. There was only 7 at 50. Right? There's only 8 at over 45. The other one would be Michelli, who just got traded to Toronto. He had 49 as a member of Arizona. So that's it. Even 45 plus points. Right? So even if you get to 40 points, man, we're talking 20 guys. So an average of 5 rookies a year on average can get 40 points. So is it possible when you're playing, if he's playing, I don't want to, that's an if he's playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, that will give him an advantage. No question. I'm just saying it is, it's hard. And funny enough, the 2022 season had 8 players do it. 23 had 5, 24 had 3, and 25 had 4. So that 2022 season, that's a little bit of the outlier. There was 8 that year. Since then, there's only been 12. So 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, if Howard makes it and stays on the team, I think maybe 18 goals, 14 assists. Likely no power play one time will drag his numbers down. Nick. Well, Nick, if he scores 18 goals and he's not on the power play very much, that's an unreal year too. So, but that's a realistic number. And that to me would be a huge success. Huge success if you can get it. Hey, guys, think there'd be any appetite to put a kid line together? Savoy, Philp, and Howard from Yeg Moose. 0 chance. Because Noah Philp is not a top 9 forward. So that means Savoy and Howard are 4th liners. There's no point in having them in Edmonton as 4th liners to play 10 minutes. That makes absolutely no sense. So, Noah Philp's going to be in tough. He's going to be in real tough to make this team. That's just a reality, man. When you're a cup contending team and you're a young player, it's hard to make the team. And then it's even harder to stay there and contribute. That's just the hard truth. So, no, I don't think there's any chance of a Noah Philp, Howard, Savoy to us to start the season. I don't think there is any way they would do it. Hey, Gregor, Lane Hudson did as a defenseman. Yeah, sure. There's outliers, but I'm using forwards. I didn't want to use defensemen because that's even more rare. Right? Luke Hughes, Brock Faber. Well, actually, guys, to have 50 points, Lane Hudson, Mo Cider. That's it the last 2 seasons. Now, Cale Makar did it in his rookie year. Great, but he's a defenseman. Right? And, Lane Hudson had 26 power play points, my man. Mo Cider had 21. Right? When the D-men do it, they're getting a lot of power play points. You're not getting a ton of power play points. And even if you look at those, I was looking at the rookies, like Celebrini, 22 power play points. Connor Bedard, 21 power play points. 17 for Michkov, 17 for Zegras, 18 for Lucas Raymond. Right? See the connection? The only guy who wasn't a big power play, a guy who scored a lot of points as a rookie, was Michael Bunting. And he had 63 points, but only 5 of them came on the power play. Now, he was a unique rookie because he had played 21 games the year before with Arizona. And in 21-22, he would have been, he would have been, he was like a 26, 27-year-old. So I probably shouldn't even count Bunting in that regard. He was a much later player. So, it's had some. He had more pro experience, for sure. It's hard. So, and I'm not. Hey, Gregor, you're being a real fun sponge. Normally, you're positive. From Dan. Well, I don't think being realistic is a fun sponge. Not at all. If Howard scores 18 goals and 32 points, man, you should be doing cartwheels. Arvidsson didn't score 18 goals. Jeff Skinner didn't score. Jeff Skinner's almost a 400-goal scorer in his career. He didn't score 18 last year. Connor Brown didn't score 18 last year. Go down the list. So I don't think I'm being a fun sponge. I just trying to put it into perspective of how hard it is to score 50 points as a rookie in the NHL. Never mind 55, just even 50. And even that in itself, like, my God, get 35. Be pretty excited. Right, we're looking at the history of the Oilers franchise. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 52. Glenn Anderson, 53. Dave Lumley, 58. Jason Arnott, 68. Gary Curry, 75. Those are the only rookies. And now Curry had been playing pro in Europe. Right? But those are the only rookies to have. Can it happen? Yes. And I know Oilers fans, you want a Calder Trophy really bad. You feel like it's the one trophy that has somehow slipped through your grasp as a fan. I understand it. I hope Ike Howard has boatloads of success. That'd be fantastic. I just not sure it's going to be as easy as some think. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Buck Pierce, head coach. He's had a few weeks to get under his belt as a head coach in the CFL. He'll join us next. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood, oodle, nood, oodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocksyeg.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Thursday afternoon. Man, it's just flying by. This whole summer, I can't believe we're almost in like the middle of July. It's great. Hopefully you're taking some time. The kids now at home in the summer. It's good. You got some fishing in, maybe a little camping, if that's your thing. But there's no shortage of sports right now. It's awesome. As we get to the football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca as we are joined by the head coach, gentleman who was with the Winnipegs, had a lot of success as the OC, multiple Grey Cups, multiple other Grey Cup appearances, and now back where he was a player at one time in his career as a rookie CFL head coach. Buck Pierce joins us. Buck, welcome back to the show. First time as a head coach. How you doing?
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
I'm excellent. It's kind of like I know it's probably maybe an unfair comparison, but there's a difference for being the backup quarterback and being the starting quarterback, and then being a coordinator to the head coach. Right? It's just a step up. It's been now over a month. What's been the biggest learning curve that you've experienced as a head coach?
Well, I think just your daily process and what that looks like. Whether it be, roster management, injuries, making sure the players, needs are taken care of, from everything, on and off the field. And then just, once you get on the field, it's just football, right? So probably just everything outside of, the white lines of being on the field.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? Because you're like, hey, I'm hired to coach what happens on the field, but there's so much, and you would probably know that there's so much that goes into success on the field that happens way off the field and in practice time. And what about kind of, being a head coach, Buck, where, you now have to deal with all the personalities. It's not just as a position coach or even as a coordinator where you're really kind of focused on one element. You're the head coach. You got to oversee everybody. And you really have to kind of have a pulse of where guys are mentally as well as physically.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think that's the greatest part about being a coach. I think, the best coaches are teachers and understand personalities and are able to, relate to people. It's a people business, right? And you get into coaching because you love football and you're passionate about that, but also you enjoy the process of, helping people grow and get better, not just on the field, but in their personal lives as well. And as a head coach, you get to lay out a vision and a standard of what that looks like. And along the way, you help them, hopefully, better their lives and give them opportunities, to win football games, move up in their career and also, provide for their family. So that's the part that I really enjoy. I don't think, if you talk to many coaches, yes, they love the X's and O's and those type things, but it's about the relationships and being around the players.
The process of a head coach is also filling out your coaching staff. And there is, of course, a salary cap involved in that. And there's lots of, some guys were there and some guys, you've been around the CFO a long time. So relationships matter. What was, the process of building out the coaching staff and just how important that is to the success of a team?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's one of the most, important decisions you go through as a head coach is the people you surround yourself with. Obviously, I've been around some great coaches, been around, learned a lot from a lot of people. And as an assistant and as a, coach and guy that's been in the CFL for 20 plus years, you're always observing, and you're always, looking at, way guys do certain things, how guys coach, how they relate to players, what they get out of certain guys. And so you're always kind of, formulating, that plan in your head. there's guys on this staff that I haven't worked with before, you know, that I've watched from afar, you know, but there's also a lot of guys that I'm familiar with as well, and understanding how they'll react to certain situations, how they are around their players, you know, the respect that you know, they give, you know, but also, you know, just good coaches and guys that, you know, care about the CFL and want to see their players get better.
So let's talk about your team. You're coming off a huge victory last weekend, and the kind of the ageless wonder, Sean White, man, he just continues to find ways to come up big at the right time.
Yeah, you know, I was with the BC Lions when Sean came into the league.
Yeah, I know.
I actually held for Sean.
Yeah.
You know, I was one of his holders, and you know, so I've known Sean for a long time. You see, you know, his progression as a professional over the last number of years. He's been doing it at a high level for, you know, a long time. But you just see the maturity about how he goes about his business, and you know what he shows up, you know, like every day. Doesn't matter how many big kicks he's made, how many situations he's been in before. He approaches it like, you know, this is, you know, the most important kick of my career. And I think he you know, provides leadership, you know, stability, you know, consistency, and, you know, not just his kicks, but what he does as a pro. So, you know, there's a lot of things you can learn, you know, about yourself, you know, watching Sean, and he's been a great leader for us. So everybody was excited to see him go out there and make that kick for sure.
You got Nathan Rourke, who had an unreal year a few years ago, then came in late last season, got nicked up a little bit. The potential of Nathan Rourke, and you know that position very well, Buck, and it's a hard position. Like, there's very few guys that come in. Like, Anthony Calvillo is one of the greatest quarterbacks in CFL history. His first 4 or 5 years, you know, showed that it's a tough league, and now people had to be patient with him. Rourke's had earlier success than Anthony has, but as you're a head coach and you understand that position probably better than most head coaches because you played it, so that's an advantage. How do you look at Rourke and kind of where are the areas of his game you love and the area of his games that you're hoping to just kind of keep massaging to get better?
Well, you know, I think, you know, you look at his overall work, you look at, you know, what he's done and, you know, the course of his career. You know, there's a lot of room for growth just in, you know, learning, you know, through reps and through situations. And I think that was the biggest thing for him, you know, when he went down to the NFL, you know, not getting those reps and, you know, understanding that, you know, I got to watch and learn, you know, through a different, you know, lens and actually getting out there and playing. But he has a knack of his process of, you know, seeing pictures, you know, studying, knowing where to go with the football. His preparation is that of a veteran that's been in the league for a long time. So I think, you know, very, very early in his career, he's, you know, found his niche to what, you know, works for him, you know, what he needs on a weekly basis to prepare. You look at the things that, you know, he wants to get better at. He you know, focuses on his weaknesses and, you know, wants to be coached, wants to, you know, improve those things. You know, I think just, you know, fundamentally, you know, understanding and learning a little bit more about, you know, CFL defenses, you know, how the game should be played, you know, what he's facing on a weekly basis and how his game has to adapt. That's where his growth is going to come. Because, you know, in the CFL, you play teams, you know, multiple times, especially in your own division, right? So, you know, to be able to, you know, perform against, you know, the same team multiple times and then on into the playoffs, you know, you got to be able to evolve your game as well and add some of those tools to your toolbox as a quarterback.
Buck Pierce joins us, head coach of the BC Lions. They'll be in Edmonton to take on the Elks for the second time this season, Sunday at 5:00. You can get your tickets at goelks.com. You mentioned, Buck, understanding and reading the defense. How many years did it take you to really grasp what the CFL defenses did?
Well, you know, it's always evolving. I think the most important thing is understanding yourself here first, and offensively, you know, what you're trying to do and getting on the same page with your play caller. You know, your role as a quarterback isn't just to go out there and throw the football. It's to understand everybody around you, understand what the defense is doing, and then understand, you know, what the play caller wants. And, you know, that type of rhythm of, how he's calling a game, what it calls for at this situation in the game, all those type things. So you're always learning. That's the great thing about playing this position. The longer you play, the smarter you get. You're going to keep evolving if you allow yourself to be in that, mindset of, hey, I got to get better. I got to get better. I got to get better. But I think what makes pro football and the quarterback position so special is you're never there. It's always challenging. It's always hard. And you got to take the good with the bad. You got to learn from every situation you get, and the good ones do. You talk about Anthony Calvillo. He learned from those situations early in his career. There's adversity in everybody's career, and you got to learn how to handle that, right? And you trust your process, and hopefully you have good supportive coaches in your corner, and they're with you for a while, so you can grow into that system.
Buck Pierce joins us. Buck, I don't expect you to give away the game plan at all, but you're watching the Elks, and the last few weeks, Trey Ford, he's an unbelievable scrambler. He's not really scrambling. He's really trying to evolve his game and be a pocket passer. Does it evolve at all when you think, okay, Trey Ford's not going to run, or do you have, how do you balance that knowing the guy's got an elite ability to scramble, even though he's really trying to get comfortable passing in the pocket?
Yeah, I think the coaches there are doing a good job with them. I think, you've seen the growth over the last number of weeks, to where he's, taking steps, right? Trey's still going to be Trey. He's still going to have that ability. And I think as a coaching staff, you still want him to be that way. You don't want to take that part away, because not many people, have that ability to, do what he does. Now, do you want him to do that all game? Probably not, right? You have to, continue to work on the things that he needs to work on, but you see growth. You see growth. You see him, his eyes are right. His feet are clean. It looks like he knows where he's going with the football. He's on the same page with his receivers, and that's all growth, right? That's things you might not see on the stat sheet all the time, but you look at, what they've done over the last couple of weeks. I think they're doing a good job with them.
So your defense, Buck, where are you at? How comfortable are you with where your defense? Are you kind of on track? Are there areas that you'd want to see improvement on the defensive side? Yeah,
I mean, there's always areas that you want to see improvement on. That's a football season. That's, early in the season. That's those things. We got to, make sure we're playing clean football. We got to make plays when opportunities are there. I think that's one thing, elite defenses do. They're able to make plays, get the ball back, create turnovers. I think they're doing a good job of getting some pressure, on the quarterback. Our guys are running to the football. It's just, continuing to up our communication level, and fix the little things that, are self-inflicted.
Your offensive points, I don't think, probably not where you want to be right now. So when you're looking at offensively, what would you like to see more from your offense that's going to lead to more points?
Yeah, we got to finish drives. We got to finish drives. We got to be able to drive the football field down the field, put the ball in the end zone. That's the biggest thing. Over the first number of weeks, we've settled for field goals or we've, turned the ball over, in scoring position. Right. So, those things can't happen. Those things can't happen if you want to be able to beat teams consistently. And it's just, it comes down to my same point, opportunities missed, there's certain, points in the game where, we need to make a play and those plays aren't being made. So, we got to continue to look at that, and making sure that we're, finishing drives. If you look at, our second half production over our first half production, we're not starting fast enough. We need to make sure we start faster.
Buck Pierce joins. Buck, I like how you outlined that because it is very true. And, it's funny. A coach told me once there's like 6 plays that ultimately are a difference maker in the game sometimes. And you don't know which 6 it's going to be at the time, but it seems like that's how it comes down to, excluding the odd blowout, of course. But in a lot of tight games, and the CFL for the most part is tight. The Edmonton players told me in BC, the crowd, 52,000, was so loud. Their offense, they were trying to audible. Like they weren't in sync at all. you've been on that side of an. Can you feel that as a coach when you know the other offense is struggling? And does it allow you to suddenly be okay? Well, like we got to bring even more pressure because these guys can't even get their play calls off.
Well, I definitely do think that there is, players do feel the energy of the crowd. That's a major part of the game of football. You would like them as a coach and as a player to, be able to, whether, the crowd's on your side or against you, just be able to execute your offense and perform. But, we're human beings and those type of things. So, crowds do play a factor into it, most definitely. Right. But I also think, but at this level too, you need to be able to perform when your best is required and your best is required every week. You just mentioned it, in the CFL, it comes down to a number of plays. You don't know what, plays those are. So you got to make sure that, your assignment's sound. And when those opportunities arise, you take advantage of them.
And lastly, Buck, special teams is massive in the CFL. The Elks special teams, especially the return game, has been very good. What does your cover teams need to do to ensure that the Elks aren't getting significant returns as they had for many games this season?
We got to be detailed. We got to be detailed. We got to make sure, we're communicating, we're understanding the looks, we're understanding, the opponent. There's not a detail that you can't, detail enough. When you look at, how explosive they can be on special teams, obviously, momentum, all those type things, special teams is a major part of the CFL with so many snaps in a game. So, we got to make sure that we're detailed and, guys are doing their job as 1/12. Everybody's, talking, understanding what the guy next to him is doing and on the same page, because if you're not, if one guy's doing his own thing, then that leads to big plays.
Well, Buck, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Continued success. Look forward to an exciting game on Sunday. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
That is Buck Pierce, the head coach of the BC Lions. And it's kind of surprising. The Lions come in ranked dead last in the league in offense of points scored. They're averaging 20 per game. So they're obviously going to want their offense to pick up the pace a little bit. Because you can look at like points overall, but then I like to look at offensive points. And they're at 20.8 per game, which is dead last in the league. The Elks come in at 6th so far at 23.8, just below Winnipeg. So, you know what? Getting better. Elks, though, offensive touchdowns. They are them and BC as well as Ottawa all tied at the bottom with 11. Now, some teams have played an extra game because of the bye week, so need to keep that in mind. But actually, BC, fun enough, like they're averaging 20 points a game, but they played an extra game, as is Montreal, as has Toronto, and Ottawa. And interesting, like the Elks, they're going to play their 5th game, then they're going to get another bye week, but then they won't have another one till late in the year. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Need the perfect ride? The Golf Cart people have it. They offer a wide selection of new and used models from top brands like Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go. Whether it's a lifted cart for adventure or a sleek ride for the course, they'll find your match. Customize with accessories or choose a ready-to-go option. Trusted by Albertans since 1997 for quality. Visit golfcartpeople.com to find your cart and hit the road or fairway your way.
Race into adventure this summer with your friends and family and register for the Sourdough Raft Race. Build your raft and race down the North Saskatchewan River in true sourdough style. Your $10 per person entry fee gets you breakfast by Friesen Brothers, souvenirs, and a day of wild fun on the river. It's the best summer adventure ever. Sunday, August 17th. Register you or your team now at sourdoughraffrace.com. Sponsored in part by Oil City Cranes. That's sourdoughraffrace.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440. Josh Fenwick running things at Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. So say hello to him over there. As we get to 5 question brought to you by The Brick is Canada's biggest appliance sale. Continues on now. And for the next few days, unreal savings where you can get up to 60% off clearance appliances below cost, scratch, and dent. But that's in-store only. You got to see it, and trust me, you won't believe it because it's like one little dent. You barely notice it. It's on the side of the stove. 60% off. Great deal right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Dale Hunter will coach Canada's team at the 2026 World Junior Hockey Championships. What do you make of this move, and what are your expectations for the team?
Well, it's had a lot of success at the with the London Knights, so it's not a surprise to me at all. Their expectations, Canada at any World Juniors, I think they're expected to win. And you know what? Gavin McKinnon is going to be on the team. They're going to have a really good chance to win.
Question number 2. We just had Buck Pierce on. Who are your top 3 coaches in the CFL?
That's a good question. I would go, well, it's hard to go with, you got to have Mike O'Shea. Guys have been to 5 consecutive Grey Cups. So he would be at He would be at the top of my list. I would have I like Jason Moss as a head coach. Thinks I always liked him here. So I will go Mr. Moss, and next one's a little difficult. I might go with Mace right now in Saskatchewan.
It's a good last pick. Question number 3. Amanda Anisimova has made the Wimbledon final following her victory today against first seed Ariana Sabalenka. Not that she's the biggest underdog in the world or anything like that, but do you have a favorite underdog running sports? And then I said maybe outside of the 06 Oilers.
Well, hey, Sabalenka, man, like that's a huge upset.
Oh,
She has been absolutely dominant, and not that Anisimova wasn't good, but seriously, it's more the fact that it's who she beat. Sabalenka is like the best women's tennis player right now, and I don't think it's close. So that's a huge win for her. So, favorite underdog run in sports. Oh man. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, to me, the best underdog, you got to win it, right? And there's lots of underdogs who have runs, but most of them don't win, right? That's what's like. Think about how many 8-seeded teams made it. Like the LA Kings were, I guess, a little bit of the exception, but maybe I'll go with Leicester City. Back when they won the Premier League title, that was pretty. That's a good pick. That was pretty unexpected, to say the least, and the fact that they actually won it. That's why I got it. To me, it's not a great underdog story if you don't get to finish, because there's lots that get close, but then the slipper doesn't fit. What about you?
I'm going with the 15 seed St. Peter's Peacocks in the 2022 NCAA tournament, making the Elite Eight. That was insane. A 15 seed making the Elite Eight. Like, come on. They beat Purdue on that run. I think they beat Kentucky in the first round. Like, it was just an insane run. So I'll go with them.
That was pretty good. Buster Douglas was unexpected, but then he did nothing after that, really.
Lost to Holyfield his next fight. He got knocked out in the 3rd or 4th round, I think.
Yeah. Well, he was never. Well, you know what, though? He had all the money. He was like, I'm good.
Yep. 100%. Question number 4. Power rank these 4 NHL players: Mitch Marner, Artemi Panarin, William Nylander, and David Pastrnak.
So rank them. Who is to be the best for me?
Yeah,
well, Pasternak's number 1 for sure. That's a really good one. So if I'm looking at playoffs and everything else, I'm going to go Pastrnak, Nylander, Panarin, Marner.
Okay.
You?
I like it. Yeah, I'd have Pasta number 1, obviously. I really like Artemi Panarin. Like, I just think he's a crazy little skilled guy. I really like his game. But it's been a bit of a steady decline. I would still No, I guess I would take Nylander number 2. So then Panarin number 3. And then Mitch Marner was a easy number 4 for me. So same one, I guess. Question number 5. Would you rather get a paper cut every day or get stabbed once a year?
Where am I getting stabbed? Like,
is
it a major artery? Then
no,
I'll avoid it. But if I'm getting, well, of course I get stabbed once a year. Like, you know
okay.
what? Paper cut every day. It's annoying. Paper cuts can be really like, you just touch something, you get a paper cut in the edge of your finger and it stings like a mofo, and then it stays there for a while. I don't want that every day. So I'll take the once a time pain, depending if it's not a major artery, I'm probably going to heal up in a few weeks. So then I've got 49 weeks of goodness and only 3 of bad.
I'm surprised it was such an easy call for you. I thought there might be some deliberation, but
no.
Jury spent no time on that one.
You?
All right. I mean, I think I might take a paper cut every day would suck. And I'm probably underrating how much that would suck. But getting stabbed is pretty intense. Like, I don't think I want to get stabbed once. And here's the other thing.
But that's why I said, like, where?
I think, like, when I thought of it, you're getting stabbed maybe like in the belly area.
No,
so we're not
that could cause a lot of problems, man. We're talking abdomen now. It's a little bit different. I was thinking like maybe getting stabbed in the shoulder.
Oh, the shoulder's not bad. Somewhere like if you miss the organs in the belly, like something like that. Yeah. But I'm just, because here's the other thing. Like, if you're getting stabbed once a year on August 1st, like, June rolls around. It's 2 months away. All July, you're anxious. Like, hey, August 1st coming up. You know what I mean? Like, that can be worse than the stab itself. So I might take the paper.
So you're saying it's the bill. Yeah, but every day you wake up, and you're getting a paper cut. It's not worse. Like, every day, and you're like, well, when's it coming? Yeah. How's this stupid piece of paper going to get me again? And why can I not outsmart it? Am I that dumb that I can't avoid a paper cut?
First thing in the morning while you brush your teeth.
Oh, so it's just there all the time. No thanks. No, I'm trying to avoid it at all costs. So you know what? I haven't had a knock on wood. I haven't had a paper cut in a long time. So you do learn, like, it is surprising how annoying and deceptively painful a paper cut is. Like, you'd be like, why? Why should that hurt me so much? It doesn't make sense. Really, in theory. I don't get it.
Another big one that was like a really common trope in, I don't know, 90s, 2000 comedy movies was like a woman breaking a fingernail. But like breaking a fingernail is tough. Like that really hurts.
Oh, dude, you see some of them now. Like you rip it off. No, thanks. No, that wouldn't be good. We got a lot of texts. Hey guys, what about Dirk's Mavs? Very good one. Very good one. That was a pretty good upset. And Dirk Nowitzki, like when you think of superstars, there wasn't a lot of people that didn't like Dirk, right? Like he didn't take himself too serious, right? Like he obviously was an unbelievable shooter. Like he was kind of that new breed big guy who could rebound, but then he would step outside the three and drain it, no problem. He had a really good level of self-deprecation, right? Him singing, he loved it. You know, he's kind of like the Strutty of singers. They're very similar talent or lack thereof in the singing department. So, but Dirk, honestly, like there wasn't a lot of people that disliked Dirk. Right, like you look at even like there's a lot of fans around the NHL, and I get it. They're like, I don't really like McDavid, right? Lots of people got sick of Gretzky, right? LeBron James, right? Like there's lots of LeBron James haters and other kind of superstar players, but Dirk was one of those guys where it's like, I don't mind Dirk. I don't really have an issue with him. So that's a good pick for an underdog story. Hey boys, what about the Giants over the Pats? Yeah. Well, Eli, though, they beat him before. Like, was that really a big of a surprise? Being somewhat kidding, but according to Eli, like, what was Tom Brady to Eli? His biatch. That's what he was. Couldn't beat him. Couldn't beat Eli. And if you're Eli Manning, I would use that all the time. I like it when he just trots it out on social media sometimes. He's pretty funny. Everybody knows Tom Brady was a better quarterback. But you're Eli Manning, like Tom has no comeback. He has no comeback when Eli just mentioned all he had to do, 2-0 Super Bowls, nothing else. Because now you can come back with, well, what's your completion percentage? It doesn't matter. When he went head to head with Brady, he beat him. He just did. Nothing you can't argue it. That's what makes it such an awesome comeback if you were him. So, quick break. Coming up. Hey, Greggs, I see people are following your story that you had 3 weeks ago about the draft age, 19-year-olds going to the AHL. Yeah, well, that's okay. It doesn't really bother me. Yeah, we tweeted that out a few weeks ago that it was going to happen, and it's not a surprise to me. It's like CHL's, man, like right now, you talk about paper cuts. Like the CHL is just getting pummeled. They're like the guy at the Alberta Springs golf course right now. That's what they are, honestly. Got players going to NCAA. Now you're losing players to potential 19-year-olds. Now, I hope the NHL is smarter than this. There are very few 19-year-olds that are going to benefit from time in the American League. I watched 20-year-olds go there and struggle mightily. Now we're going to put 19-year-old. Like, how many 19-year-old European players had great success in the American League? Can you think of any? Honestly, how many? So just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense. They got all sorts of great ways to help you stay within your limits. Keep sports betting fun. Learn more at GameSense. Just go to playalberta.ca/GameSense.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Two final Some of the majors earlier today, Cubs over the Twins 8-1, and the Orioles beating the Mets 3-1 in Game 1 of their doubleheader. Game 2 currently on, Orioles leading 6-3. The Reds and Marlins, the only other game on right now. Reds up 6-0 in the top of the 7th. News around the NHL is the Dallas Stars have made a trade with the Penguins that send defenseman Matt Dumba to Pittsburgh in a salary dump. The Colorado Avalanche have also signed defenseman Josh Manson to a 2-year contract extension. In the NBA, Jalen Williams and the OKC Thunder have agreed to a 5-year max rookie extension that could be worth up to $287 million. BC Lions defensive lineman Kamoko Ture has been suspended 1 game for committing a non-football act and inciting a post-game altercation. He will miss Sunday's game against the Elks. In Wimbledon earlier today, was Iga Swiatek over Belinda Bencic in one women's semi, and the other 13th-seeded American Amanda Anisimova over first-seed Ariana Sabalenka. Edmonton Riverhawks are in action. They play their final game in Bellingham, looking to sweep that series against the first-place Bells. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one, plus great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge, open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart people. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used Club Car, Yamaha, and EasyGo models. The Golf Cart people stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart people at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Bring non-perishable foods or monetary donations for Pure Later tackle hunger in support of Edmonton's Food Bank. Get your tickets for Sunday's game at goelks.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Five o'clock, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having fantastic. Thursday, talking about upsets. The number one seed, Sabalenka, who's the best female tennis player in the world. Pretty dominant, but she is out. Loses in the semifinal at Wimbledon. So it's a big one. Yeah, we would have had that at playalberta.ca. You would have got a pretty good payout to playalberta.ca. Of course, MLB, but they got tennis. They got all the markets. What do you want? The live dealer, casino, lottery, and more. Check it out at playalberta.ca. We should ask them to put a line on how many. What would be what would be a line over under on points for Ike Howard? And it would seem that if you look at some of the expectations from people, and then you look at what other players have done in the past, some saying, hey, automatically Howard's going to start with McDavid. Like he might get a chance in preseason. Well, I shouldn't say might. I think he'll get a chance in preseason. But keep in mind, line combinations, I don't put a whole bunch of stock into it. Would you love to see him stay there? Great. Hey, Jake Gensel, when he came in, now, granted, it was halfway through the year. There's another example of a guy who came in on a team. They had won the cup the year before. He played a huge role. So it can happen on your team. No question about it. It can happen. But to expect it is one thing. To have it kind of surprise people and say, hey, I hope he scores 30 points. If he does anything else, to me, that's a huge one. So it all depends which way you look at it. But, man, if I put the line, I have to find out, what's a good line? Because if it went too low, everybody's going to take the over. I might go 38 and a half. It would be pretty hard. Maybe even 36 and a half. I don't think it'd be an obvious one either way. What do you think? 833-414-1440 as we get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They're underground infrastructure specialists. Things like ensuring you got running water to ensuring the roadway you're on is smooth. It's GS Construction. Mark Spectre from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. And Spec, I discussed this a while back, how I was hearing that the AHL was going to allow 19-year-olds coming out of the CHL only be Europeans. And my understanding is it's going to be one guy per team is all you're allowed, which is probably going to be too many. I don't think suddenly there's going to be 32 19-year-olds. That would be absolutely idiotic. But you look at the CHL, man, you're losing players to NCAA. You might lose a few players to the NHL. How do you think they adapt to this and react? Or do you think that it's not going to be as painful as some think for the overall product?
Well, to me, it's up to the NHL teams to be responsible. Don't just put a 19-year-old is a drafted player. So now when you're a drafted player, you tend to follow the direction of the team that drafted you, right? They kind of take over your career and say, we think you're probably best here, best there. So to me, Jason, there are some guys who have been caught in that window where they're stuck in junior for the 19-year-old season. They would have been better in the AHL. They weren't NHL players. So they go back to junior and whatever. But there's a few guys that should go to the AHL. I'm fine with it. You're right. There's not 32 a year, man. No chance there's 32. So my point is this. It's up to the NHL team to be responsible and not say, hey, let's just take our best kid in junior and put him in the AHL. That's not necessarily the best thing for every kid, right? It's not always going to be a good idea. So how many do you think in the first year, let's say they do that rule, out of 32 teams, how many do you think have a 19-year-old who is best served by playing in the AHL?
Oh, I would say 0, but I don't think they'll view it that way.
You would say 0.
Yes, 0 Spec. There's this fascination with having to challenge ourselves against the best is so overrated and proven false, yet it continues to get repeated. It's quite comical. Leon Draisaitl, Spec, is one of the greatest players in the league. He couldn't play in the NHL at 19, right? Had to go and really even started his 20-year-old year in the minors for a bit. Now we're going to have 19-year-olds in the American League. You can do it. How many Euros who were able to go at 18 or 19 went to the American League and you're like, wow, they really flourish from that.
Yeah, not many. We tend to leave European kids back in Europe and let them play their pro hockey there. I mean, okay, I'll play devil's advocate though. What if Leon Draisaitl at his 19-year-old season, instead of going back to PA and then eventually Kelowna, correct? What if he just spent a year playing pro hockey? Would that have helped him?
Well, I don't think he would have gained the confidence that he gained that year in junior, right? Went back to junior. They went all the way to the Memorial Cup. So you have success. You know what? He was in the NHL for half a season and, it didn't work, at all. And, he learned some things. Would he have learned more by getting his teeth kicked in the American League? I don't think so. I think he learned enough.
Okay. I lean to your side of this thing. I'm just trying to make a conversation here. We talked on the show yesterday about overwhelming young players with expectation and too big a role and all that stuff. Howard's done more. He's ahead of this. He's not a 19-year-old here. Okay, how about this one? What about a guy like, whenever they draft a guy like Bedard or Celebrini, they put him right in the NHL because, the team wants to sell tickets. He's the first overall, blah, blah, blah. What if you gave him some time in the A? What if you said, how about 20 games in the A first and then come to the NHL? Would that be a bad thing?
Well, it wouldn't hurt. No. You mean like, yes, Puljujärvi? But I know he was eligible to do it. And you could do it, Spec. I think at times even at the NHL, they're guilty of this always having to rush things. Right now, you're a bad team, and even though you don't say it, and you're right about selling tickets and getting jerseys and all that stuff, make no mistake, that's part of the equation. I'm not naive enough to think it's a business. But the funny part about that business is that's a short-term gain that could actually cause you more long-term pain. Have we ever, I can't believe they sent that guy back to junior at 19. Jeez, he really, he scored too much and he was a dud because of it.
It really hurt his career.
Right? No one ever says that.
I know. Hey, Taylor Hall makes the Oilers when he's 18 because they're so bad. There's a spot for him. He's one of their best players, right?
Yeah, well, he was technically 19 too, right? Because he was a late birthday.
Okay, so he's 19. But Taylor Hall wouldn't, as a 19-year-old, wouldn't make this Oilers team, right? He wouldn't make it. He can't make it. He unless he played him on the fourth line, which would have been stupid. So it's the whole process that the worst team drafts the best player, and then it's pretty hard for that bad team not to say, well, he can make my team. Like Bedard could certainly make the Blackhawks in his first year, and Celebrini in San Jose. It wasn't like there was a good player that wasn't playing because those two guys were playing the NHL. Yeah, no, that is totally valid. There are a few things, coming out of the CBA as it comes out more day, and I've seen kind of like an unofficial version of it, and I have to say, Spec, there's lots in there that I like about it, but there's a few things that just kind of caught my eye that were interesting. That looking at increased availability of therapists, right? They're saying clubs are now required to have a second massage therapist available to treat players. In lieu of that second massage therapist, clubs can instead retain a physical therapist or a chiropractor, meeting certain requirements pertaining to experience in soft tissue management. Active release specialists. There's also, they talk about a second medical opinion, right? Now they can select a third doctor. If the one doctor says this and the second doctor says this, now you can go to the third one, and the club has to pay for it. So there's like little things like that they're really, I think, trying to, not everything is just about the salary cap, right? Like they look at lots of different things, rent, mortgage reimbursements. Obviously we know there's no more fitness testing. This will be like, it's funny now that we know there's no fitness testing coming in September of 26. Do you think they're going to have much fitness testing in September of 25? I don't know. I saw that too. And I thought, fitness testing also served as a bit of a baseline testing. And I know that there was times when an injury would occur and the guy would they would have a set of preseason statistics against which you could see how fit was this guy now that it's February. Now, sometimes we all know the odd guy came to camp out of shape and they hung those results over his head, right? And in fact, I think Elias Pettersson is the latest. He was said to be in brutal shape when last season started. And I guess there's a couple things here. I'm not sure who it favors if a guy can show up at camp and he didn't do his work in the summer and nobody knows. Now it's just speculation.
Well, it's probably going to be pretty easy to prove it by watching him skate, right? Like you see all the guys and they're in good shape, and now you got some guy lagging behind.
Yeah. I listen, so you're telling me, I think this is the eye test versus analytics is the conversation we're having. I want the empirical statistics that this guy tested poorly against all the other players on my team. I don't want to be looking at him on the ice and guessing I think he's in bad shape. I want to know. So there's that, right? There's that. Frankly, any guy who shows up out of shape in today's NHL with the money they make and the money that's at stake, he doesn't have a physical problem. He's got a brain problem. He's not very smart. Right?
Yes. Oh,
You're
100%.
just not very smart. Like imagine Noah Gregor. He's a guy that has to work to stay in the lineup and make a team and find a role and bust his rear end to play every year. If he shows up and he's out of shape, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, Noah, what are you doing? Right. And he's quite the opposite, as we know. He's in fantastic shape. But anyway, I don't get it. I'm just trying to figure out that I'll stop now, but I'm trying to figure out who benefits from taking physical testing out. Whose concession was that, Jason?
Well, I think what it is, Spec, is because a lot of people talk, and I remember talking to a lot of the players. I think it was not the physical. I think it was some of the testing that they did that they thought was outdated, right? Like, why are you on the bike? We don't bike in hockey, right? And the VO2 max one, right? That was one where it's like, hey, so remember Tom Rennie had the test that you had to do on the ice, Spec, to get back in the light. So if you missed time, you had to go through his test. And for anybody out there listening, basically, so think about you're in the offensive zone. You're on the right blue line. Now you skate down behind the net. You come up, you stop at the left side boards. Then you would go back down. And then he had some other stops in there. And he was basically emulating a shift. So he would do it in training camp. Everybody would do their time. And then when you came back off an injury, you had to be within a certain time frame. Now, people would say, well, could a player could lollygag it to save themselves? He's like, no, because they would do it 3 times and it was like average stuff, whatever. And so then plus you would test it against your teammates. And if you were way too low, obviously it wasn't good. So they might not be able to do the VO2 max spec, but I won't be surprised at all if in training camp, which is also shorter now too, I should mention that. It's a max of 18 days for rookies down from 21 and a max, I think, of 13 days for veterans for training camp. Now, I think you will have days where they'll be, okay, well, we couldn't do the VO2 max, but we can do a little skating test here to see where guys are at.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we're in a new NHL. It's a different place now. It's not the NHL certainly that I broke in covering where, guys were fat. There was a couple fat guys on every team when I broke in. Nobody's fat. Everybody's in shape. I get why we're saying, why are we wasting our time getting these players in shape like we did 15 years ago? They do it themselves now. Let's move on. We've got a shorter preseason. Let's focus down on more important things. We don't have time to figure out if Elias Pettersson decided to get in shape this year. I get that, right? That's fair. It's up to each individual player. And I think this is basically, Jay, this is the evolution of the National Hockey League is what it is. It's catching up to the year 2025.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. Mark Spectre joins us here in Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. A few other things, Spec, that aren't necessarily just cap related, but if you look at it from a money standpoint, workers' compensation and the payroll taxes, they're removed from the player's share. So basically, the owners from 2005, the owners paid the workers' compensation, which was about $50 million in 24, and the employer payroll taxes. That counted against the player's share, which was $55 million. Under the new one, which is at least $70 million annually, it's removed from the player's share and become the responsibility of the owners. So when it's 50-50 HR, there's now $70 million that used to be split, and now it's not. Like, I know that people at the end of the day might seem, but the players did get a few other things here that they didn't in the previous one.
Okay, so they don't pay for their CPP, and they're not paying for their.
Yeah, well, it's just not counted under HRR, is basically what they're saying, right?
I see. Okay,
Yes.
so I mean, this is the union taking care of their players. That's exactly what they're paid to do. Good for them. I got no problem with it. I thought one of the things that interested me, Jason, was the change around sending your player down to the AHL. He's got to play a game now in the AHL when he gets sent down. The advantage that a team like the Toronto Marlies, the San Jose Sharks, the Winnipeg Jets, and numerous others had, where their AHL, the Calgary Flames, the AHL team is in the same city. They had a huge advantage there because they just made paper transactions every day and accrued cap space. And this is different now. Now you send a guy to the Calgary, what are they, the Wranglers?
Yep.
You send him to the Wranglers, he can't come back till he plays a game. That's a whole different ball game now, right?
Yes.
You might not send him down there to play a game. So anyway, that's advantage Edmonton, because Edmonton with Bakersfield has one of the probably the most unwieldy situations with this AHL team, one of the worst ones in the league, compared to a team like San Jose or Calgary that has one of the best. So that's actually a bit of a helper for Edmonton's situation, don't you think?
A little bit. It was because those teams, Edmonton could do it too, right? A paper, you don't send the guy, stays for a day or two, because it's basically, people would say, well, why would a team do it? Essentially, if a player's on like a, entry level $900,000, let's say, well, now you're talking about $4,000 a day that you save on the cap. And that guy, instead of making $4,000 a day, makes $400 a day. So it's a significant difference for the player, right? Actually, probably even higher than that, because that's if they're making $70K, which is what a lot of the entry level deals are on their two-way part in the American League. So you would help. You're right that Vancouver, San Jose, Toronto, lots of the Eastern teams that are super close, it would do. But it's more so the players were getting mad because that would happen maybe 5 or 6 times a year, 2 days at a time, right? Like you're in San Jose and they send you down because everybody lives there. Like, you got guys in the American League and guys in the NHL renting in the same complex because it's right close to the rink. But the difference is for those 2 days, 5 times, that's $50,000 a year. So they're looking out because most of those teams, the savings isn't going to make that drastic of a difference. You're still going to find a way to make the trade at the end of the day. You just won't just quickly randomly send guys down to the minors anymore.
Right. So this is just, as you point out, another area where Marty Walsh got a little bit better deal for his players. And I don't disagree with that. There was some players that were getting crushed on that. A guy at the bottom of the NHL roster was getting sent down twice a week, losing NHL money, making AHL pay. That's, you know what? I don't love that. The NHL's got a lot of money, Jay.
Yes.
Right? They got, anyone who ever bought a beer at Rogers knows they got a lot of money. They can afford to pay guys what they deserve to be paid.
Dude, they're right. They got more than enough money right now. The Oilers saw one report that had Edmonton might be number one in revenue this year. So there's no shortage of it at all. And season ticket holders can probably attest as to why that number is so high. I think
maybe we'll get the candy back in the press box this year.
yeah. That $100 of candy can't do it. Can't do it. You only do it in the playoffs. So
how about I'll settle for coffee at the morning skate? How about that?
Yeah, I guess so. Eh? As a non-coffee drinker, that's not what I noticed. But actually, I kind of like that they don't have the candy in the press box because it's like I can't avoid it. It's the worst. I literally, because I have zero discipline. I was forcing myself when I came off the elevator to go down to the level where I sit instantly rather than walking on the high level because that goes right by the candy bar. Like,
wow, you are weak.
I don't disagree. I can't even pretend that I'm not. It's just like, I can't do it. I'm out. Can't do it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Not good. One last one for you, Spec. We had Buck Pierce on the show, the head coach of the BC Lions.
Yeah, I heard him.
And, you look at that team and, Edmonton was completely discombobulated offensively in week 1 in BC. 52,000 fans. It was super loud. They're trying to do the silent count. It wasn't working. We've seen what their offense has done here the last few weeks. What do you feel about the Elks going up against a team that is the lowest scoring team in the CFL in the BC Lions?
Yeah, I think that I'm pretty happy with how the offense has improved week over week. Every week they show us a little something more. I keep going back to a game they played in Winnipeg last year where Winnipeg threw a defense at Trey Ford, and you could tell, man, he didn't know what to do. He wasn't ready for it. Winnipeg put the perfect defense on him, and it wasn't pretty. I forget the score, but it was very forgettable. I'm seeing a Trey Ford's offense this year that's finding ways. Like if they run into a little trouble, they got an answer for it now. So my point is this: offensively, I'm leaving the Elks alone right now. I like what they got. They got a nice receiving core. They got a good running game. Their offensive line seems pretty good. Does Beard come back this week? That would help.
Yeah, he practiced not in pads the first day, but we'll see. Okay. I think it's a calf injury, Spec. I think they're going to be very cautious.
Okay, so anyhow, let me get to my point and I'll quit talking. I like their offense. I got time for their offense. I let them do what they're doing. To me, what's going to make the difference in this team between winning games and just being close is if they can contain other teams defensively. If this defense can start to get some sacks, if they get some confidence in their DBs where they can send some blitz packages in, where they can pressure some quarterbacks here. They got to start getting some picks. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they've
they're not won
any picks this year. No. That's got to start happening. So to me, I won't talk about their offense. It's leave it alone. They're doing great defensively. If that defense starts getting better, I think they got a chance to win a football game, Jay.
So I'll ask you before I go, Spec, what happens first? Mark Spectre gets a par or the Elks get an interception?
Hey, buddy. I got an eagle on my second hole of the year this season.
Really?
I think I just had my best hole of the year, and it was in like May.
What, on a par 4 or par 5?
Par 5, man, and it was a real eagle. 3 good shots. I chipped in from off the green after 2 lengthy balls, so very rare. I'm not telling you I do it often, but I had like I say, best hole of the year in my first game, 2 holes in.
Geez.
I might as well just put my clubs in the attic.
You just wasted it in your first one.
I did.
Set the bar really high. Now you got to go.
Yeah,
now you got to go.
Yeah, and it was a real eagle. Like it wasn't a phony one. So,
but anyway. You still all right? Did you have any pars though?
A couple of pars. Listen, I'm so inconsistent at golf, man. I'm the guy that takes 94 shots, and you know what? 30 of them are pretty good. Right? Maybe 40 on a good day, but it starts with a 9 almost every time, buddy.
Okay, so you have an eagle. Do you have any birdies yet?
I did have a birdie in that round as well. Yes, I did. Yeah. Jeez. So let's start again. Start again because I barely played. I played like 2 rounds of golf.
Yeah, starting today. What happens first?
Well, I'm going to play next week, so I'm going to tell you that the Elks are going to pick a ball off on Sunday before I get several birdies on Tuesday. How about that?
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Spec. Have a good one.
All right, man.
There you go. Mark Spectre. Eagle in your first round. That's pretty damn good. I like it. It's been a while since I had an eagle. I'll tell you that right now. So nice. But yeah, like Declan, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Elks defense and the lack of interceptions next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan, and a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Race into adventure this summer with your friends and family and register for the Sourdough Raft Race. Build your raft and race down the North Saskatchewan River in true sourdough style. Your $10 per person entry fee gets you breakfast by Friesen Brothers, souvenirs, and a day of wild fun on the river. It's the best summer adventure ever. Sunday, August 17th. Register you or your team now at sourdoughraffrace.com. Sponsored in part by Oil City Craves. That's sourdoughraffrace.com.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Shawty's like a melody.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers, try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Ike Howard, we're going to replay that interview. Got a lot of texts from people who missed it, so that's going to come up here in the final segment of the show today. Newest member of the Edmonton Oilers. We talked a lot of hockey, but if you want to get to know him a little bit better, we had lots of kind of questions about him and off the ice, because I know Oilers fans are always interested in knowing about the players, not just what they do on the ice. So we had a little bit of both in that. We were talking about the Elks, Declan, of course, Declan Cougar here from Sports 1440, as well as Elks Nation, where they got 2 podcasts a week. And we were discussing it about the Elks' inability, because it's not from lack of opportunities. They could have at least, I would think, 3 or 4 interceptions this year, but they've got, so far, they've had some of the worst secondary hands in the league.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Like Kobe Williams should have one. It was actually a misplayed route by him. Like he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he still made a play on the ball. But if he's where he needs to be, that's a pick. Devondrick Bynum should probably have one. You can look at Jalen Garnes, who probably has one. And then maybe you can't point to a specific play and say he should have had one here, but just based on who he is, like you would think Terrell Ford would have at least made some semblance of a play.
He's not getting many balls, though.
They aren't throwing many balls to him. Yeah, he plays that strong side corner, which for anyone who doesn't know, the strong side, not always, but if things are equal in the offensive set, the strong side of the field is the wide side of the field.
Yeah.
And it's generally, you don't throw it there because it's more distance for the ball to travel. And when you have a guy like Terrell, whose speedster can break on the ball, you don't want to test that. So yeah, he's been locked down. He's been great. They haven't been thrown to him. But yeah, on top of that, like just not making plays on ball. There, no forced fumbles, no interceptions, one pass breakup, I think, so far this year through 4 games for the Elks, which obviously don't need to tell you that, Jason. Not great, not the best numbers in the world for a secondary that I think is very talented individually. Like, I think all the guys are really, really good players.
Yeah, and to me, that's a good sign for the Elks, because there's only one way to go from there, and that's up, right? Like they should be able to make more plays moving forward into the second half. Well, not even second half, but into the remaining part of this season, and that to me should be a big benefit, because you're right, they haven't done very much, and they're not really getting blown out of games despite their defense. Because when you get turnovers, it changes so much of the game. It's a massive, emotional turning point, everything. And right now, they're not just having that. So I think if you can get that here and starting against BC, who's a low scoring team, I think that would be crucial. You like in that first game, you go back and I watch week 1. How many times did they have Buck Pierce? And no offense, not Buck Pierce, sorry, but they're the young QB whose name's escaping me, right? Rourke. Nathan Rourke, who's he's not Trey Ford of a scrambler. He's an okay scrambler, but they had 3 or 4 times where they should have had sacks and they didn't get it. So, and I've seen that's been another trend. We talk about no forced fumbles, no interceptions. Look how many times they've had 3 or 4 guys and they've got the quarterback in a tough situation. They're not taking him down.
It's been my number one biggest issue with the team, the tackling and the penetration from the defensive line. It's 2 things. One thing quickly about the turnover battle is, like, I do agree with you that it will correct itself, and there's enough talent there that these guys will start making plays on balls and getting some takeaways. The other side of the coin, though, naturally, is if they don't, you have to, not that Trey Ford is some turnover machine, and not that Rankin and Javon Leake have butterfingers, but if you don't start getting takeaways on the defensive side of the ball, conventional wisdom suggests you're going to be losing the turnover battle. And it's tough to win games when you lose the turnover battle, because the worst thing you can do as an offensive player is turn that ball over. And the way Edmonton's defense has been playing, you don't want to be giving good offenses short fields. And there are a lot of good offenses out there, a lot of quarterbacks who can make plays. So that's one thing. But another thing that comes with it is, like, this defensive line has to get to the quarterback.
Yes.
If you're a quarterback and you have, generally the rule of thumb is, a quarterback, you want to get the ball out by 3 seconds, because that's when the defender is going to be there.
Yeah.
But if you have 4, 5, 6 to move around in that pocket, like, it is very, very, very tough for a DB to stay with someone in man coverage. Now, if it's a zone coverage, it gets a lot easier to find the soft spots in that coverage. And I think that's some of what we've seen as well. So the defensive line needs to help out the DBs, but overall, like, I fully expect this team to start getting some takeaways. Like, just look at the talent. Like, Terrell Ford could end up with 5 this season himself. You got a guy who flies around out there in Royce Mechie. Cordell Jackson, listen, even if he's not some big interception monster like this, he was actually in the Indoor Football League, by the way, but he's a guy who's really physical, and he's always going at the ball. He's always trying to punch the ball out when he's making tackles. Kobe Williams, the one guy we've seen close, and then Devondrick Bynum. Like, it's just, I know I listed the whole defensive secondary, but it's talented guys who have ability all the way around.
Yeah. And so far through the first 4 games, I think considering it was supposed to be the strength of the team, I think the biggest disappointment through 4 games has been the play of the defense. They haven't done enough. Like, I know that one was a late touchdown, and so but still, that's 31, 36, 38, 37 points against in 4 games. Like, at some point, you want to win some games, you're going to need your defense, which is getting paid the big money and's got some of the big names and higher expectations, to make more plays on the ball. It's just going to have to happen. And I'll be curious to see when that starts, because it is definitely it. Hey, Greg's, how do you compare Savoy and Howard? The prospect ratings online says it was Savoy's rated higher. Is this correct, from Canadian Vagabond? Well, hey, if we go back, Savoy was drafted 9th in the draft year. Howard was drafted 31st. Savoy has a year of pro under his belt. Howard doesn't. They're both the exact same age. They're both 21. Savoy turned 21 in January. Howard turned 21 in March. So it's hard. They're very, lefty to a righty. Howard's a better shooter. Savoy's a better passer. I think Savoy has the advantage because he has pro experience. Right, Howard, he's a lefty, but look at the right wing. You got Zach Hyman. Who else? Now, David Tomasek is the biggest wild card of the whole thing. He's a 29-year-old. He's not going to be classified as a rookie now in NHL standards, but without any NHL experience. He, to me, and he led the Swedish Elite League in points last year. He led it in goals the year before that. Teams have been trying to get this guy to come to the NHL for a few years, and he finally decided he wanted to come to Edmonton. Why? Because he looks at who he has a chance to play with here. Not an idiot, right? Like if you're gonna leave Europe, you want to come there. You're an offensive player. Well, hey, so I'm as much as it's Howard, and Howard's the latest one, and that's exciting. I don't think he's drastically higher than Savoy. I'm not even sure he is higher than Savoy. He's a little bit thicker, right? He's a little bit taller, 2 inches taller, probably 15 pounds heavier, bigger, thicker. But I think Savoy might be a little quicker. We'll see. They're both darters, right? Which is probably a good thing when you're playing with McDavid and Draisaitl. If you can get to that opening, that's going to help you. But it's a really good question. If you had to ask, who do you think has more points between the two of them? It's a fascinating question. Because then, to me, you still throw in Tomasek into the mix potentially on where he fits. I don't know. Like he's the biggest wild card for me. I have no idea. I've never seen him play one single game. I watched tape of him on a game, and I'm sorry, like the video, you see it, okay, as the puck, but I don't know, like what's the quality of player he's against. It's really hard to tell. He to me is the most fascinating story, without question, the most fascinating story heading into camp. Quick break. We'll come back and we will wrap things up here from Ike Howard on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Selling at 10 a.m. All being sold to the highest internet bidder. View on site, bid online. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.543. Some headlines that make you laugh. Mike Leach. There's a story online about Mike Leach. He's a classic coach in NCAA, that he had to be talked out of putting a little person in the backfield and then just throwing him over the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations. This is an April Fool's joke. Like in theory, it's, oh my God, that's hilarious. Could you imagine, Declan? Oh, so funny. Comical. Now, hey, speaking of football, do you want to go? Courtesy of Elks Nation, we got 2 packs of a 4-pack for a family to go to the game on Sunday. So you got a family of 4, or hey, maybe one of it, you got 3 kids, you're going to take them and you give mom or dad the day off. Either way, 833-401-1440. Just text in Elks and we'll make a draw. So you'll get 4 tickets to this Sunday's game for the green and gold. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Meanwhile, Ike Howard, who is a member of the Oilers, was on the show earlier today. Here's that conversation. Ike Howard joins us. Ike, welcome to the show, man. Congratulations on your first NHL contract. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for having me on. I'm doing good. Obviously, been a kind of a crazy couple days, but super excited, and it's definitely been fun.
So, Ike, how closely were you involved with this? Like, was your agent giving you updates? The rumor had come out back around the draft that Oilers in Tampa Bay were discussing a trade, and it didn't come to fruition right away. Were you pretty confident that it was going to happen? How many were you getting hourly updates, daily updates, or just saying, agent, text me when I get traded?
I knew it's been in the works for a little bit. I met with them, had a Zoom. It's been, probably over like a month or so. And it honestly came as a total shock to me because it obviously I haven't been getting daily updates or anything, just kind of whenever something new would happen or whatever. But, honestly didn't really have any idea if it was going to happen or whatnot. And, obviously when it finally went through, I was just super excited and, couldn't wait to get started.
So in the conversations you had, anybody who's a skilled forward looks and said, oh, geez, I might have the opportunity to play with that McDavid kid. Well, he's all right. And then there's this Draisaitl guy. He's not bad either. For a young player who's an offensive-minded player, what was the conversations you had with the organization leading up to the deal?
Yeah, just what, about their city and rink and facilities and how they do things, just kind of that type of stuff. Obviously I know everyone about their team and, how incredible, those guys you just named are obviously such special players, and you get a chance to be on the same team as any of those guys. It's pretty incredible and a super cool, opportunity. And I didn't really need to be sold at all. I kind of just loved everything about it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Now, I saw on Instagram you posted that you're playing Mark Messier in a Theo Fleury film. Now, you had the old Winwell helmet on, I noticed. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it was. It felt pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. We had some crazy old gear. It was pretty funny how that happened. We were just at school, and they obviously needed some hockey guys to film the scene because it was going to be whatever, a 5-on-5 scene or whatever. So everyone from our team hopped out there, had a couple fun days on set, and I got an appreciation for those wooden sticks and how those guys were able to shoot it because they were pretty bad.
Yeah. So how was your shot with the wood stick?
It was way different. I'm used to kind of being able to snap it, but you can't really do that. It's more rolling the wrists and the puck, a little different technique. So it was definitely different.
Oh God, yeah, and heavy, right? It's like you're working out when you're lifting those old sticks.
Yeah, we were chopping each other a little bit in the wrists, and you definitely feel it a lot more with those heavy wooden sticks.
Yeah, well, you get appreciation just how different it is, because people always say, oh, you know what, they weren't. I said the advancements in technology, skates, sticks, training, nutrition. You're flying first class. It's really hard to compare and that's not even that long ago. But it's been a major difference when you consider where hockey is now, and allows the athletes, I think, just to maximize your potential more.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Ike Howard joins us. So Ike, for Oiler fans who, they see all the stats and they've probably seen a few highlights. What do you feel will make you, that you're confident that you're NHL ready? What's the aspect of your game you're most confident in that can fit in the NHL right today?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the way I think the game, thinking ahead, finding open spots, and using my release, being able to find guys when they're open. I think just using my offensive instincts. I've gotten stronger and faster. Being at Michigan State, I think I'm physically ready. I feel like I'm in good shape, good conditioned, and I feel like I'm definitely ready to make the jump to pro. And I think obviously within this organization, it favors really well for players like me, and I think that's why it's such a good fit, and why I'm excited.
Are you predominantly a left winger? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think I don't mind either wing. I've played right wing. I like it as well. I think I've ended up on the left side a lot, but probably prefer left wing a little bit. But honestly, I don't really care too much.
We had your head coach Adam Nightingale on the show yesterday, and really fantastic interview, just talking about the team. And obviously, we got into some stuff about you. And he said we were talking about, like, you come in, you're a big personality. I don't mean that as a negative. I think it's a positive. You need different personalities. And he actually said, you know what, at times he made me a better coach because, as a coach, sometimes you feel like, God, not allowed to smile, can't have any fun. You got to be strict all the time. And he's like, with Ike, he works hard, but he has fun doing it. How do you balance that? Because I think it's important to be who you are and be like, guys, like, I can play hockey and smile. Doesn't mean I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just about enjoying what you do and, making the most out of it. I like to have fun in practice and compete. And, I think that's, me and Nadia have such a great relationship. We've been together for 4 years, and I think obviously there's been some push and pull there and learning stuff, but it's been awesome. He's been my favorite coach. I think he's the man, and I think it's just about being yourself. Obviously you need to be focused and ready to go, but at the same time, having fun and bringing good energy.
How did he help you as a player?
I think just with his ability to understand, like, the pro game. He coached a ton of players there. And, I've had hours of talks of what I need to do to get to the next level and to be ready for the next level. And it's just little things away from the puck. And, it's not necessarily just scoring and setting guys up. It's little details, stick details in the defensive zone, angles, all that stuff he preaches. And, I'm just very appreciative. He kind of gave me that head on and help me learn that. And, now I feel that I'm ready.
Ike Howard joins us, the newest member of the Oilers. Virtually every high-end offensive player coming out of junior NCAA, they're like, hey, great speed. He's got to work on his defensive game. Like, I can't think of one, very few players that, maybe Barkov. That might be one of the rare exceptions, right? Like, that's just natural because most guys, when you're the best player, going up in U11, U15, U18, whatever, you know what? You're so good that you can kind of get away with it. What's been the thing where you've appreciated working on your defensive game that you feel has helped you as a player?
Yeah, I think it's not like disregarding it, just knowing how important it is to, whatever system you're playing, right? Every team's different, but, being in your spot, owning your responsibility in the D zone. And I think if you do things right, you'll get more chances offensively. And I think I've kind of learned that over the last couple of years. It could stem from the D zone, and then all of a sudden you're take a pass off or lift the stick and you're going down the other way through and two. So I think just stuff like that and just honing in those details has been super crucial.
Now, my understanding is that you watched a lot of the Oilers playoff games. Like, they're an exciting team. Obviously, they've been in the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years, so hockey fans are watching them. When you look at your style of play, like Draisaitl and McDavid play so different. McDavid is just, 100% speed all over the ice, and Draisaitl can really skate, but he'll slow the game down, and, he passes on his backhand as well as he does on his forehand, and he's kind of a rare shooting center at times. When you watch those two, like, obviously you'll be happy to play with either one, but is there a different way that you would have to play it all, do you find, if you played with McDavid or with Draisaitl?
I mean, both those guys are so good at what they do, and obviously they play differently. I mean, I think you just try to compliment them in any way you can. I don't think you got to overthink it when you're playing with guys that good. You know what I mean? They're gonna find you and whatnot. So I mean, if I was ever able to get a chance with either of those guys, obviously that'd be incredible. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you got to overthink it. Those guys are are the best for a reason, and those guys are normally the easiest to play with.
Howard, if you want to see the rest or listen to the rest, watch the replay on YouTube. You can go to jasongregor.com for the interview or get the podcast. Today's show, it was in hour number 1 and hour number 4. Deck, you got 2 winners for the Elks.
Daryl and Jordan. Send me those emails and full names.
Daryl and Jordan, check your phones, get it in so you can be going to the game. On behalf of Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick, I'm Jason Gregor. For all of our guests, Terry Ryan as well. Appreciate you watching and listening to the show today. Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, of course, sports1440.ca and Sports 1440 Radio, the home for Edmonton sports. Let's get to Kruger with our final sports update, brought to you by McDonald's. $2 Sundays, $2 snack size shakes, and get the app and you can get a $1 cone right now only at McDonald's. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Finals from the majors earlier today. It was the Reds over the Marlins 6-0. A doubleheader between the Orioles and Mets. Orioles winning both 1-7-3, the other 3-1. It was the Cubs over the Twins 8-1, and of the games in action right now, the Mariners lead the Yankees 1-0 in the top of the third. Sources say a new provision in the NHL CBA will allow each NHL team to place one 19-year-old CHL player in the AHL per season, 1 per organization per season, and 18-year-olds are ineligible. That will begin in the 26-27 season. Other news around the league, the Dallas Stars made the trade with the Penguins that send defenseman Matt Dumba to Pittsburgh in a salary dump move, and the Colorado Avalanche have signed defenseman Josh Manson to a 2-year contract extension. He had 1 goal and 14 assists in 48 games last season with the club. In the NBA, Jalen Williams and the OKC Thunder have agreed to a 5-year max rookie extension that could be worth up to $287 million. Women's semis in Wimbledon, in case you missed it earlier, it was Iga Swiatek over Belinda Bencic 6-2 and 6-love, and it was Amanda Anisimova in 3 sets over top seed Ariana Sabalenka. Edmonton River Hawks will play their final game in Bellingham tonight. First pitch for that one in about an hour and 10 minutes time. They're looking to sweep the series against the first place Bells. And the Canadian men's soccer team has made a career high number 28 in the latest FIFA World Rankings. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell legacy